Guys, today modern AI is quite advanced, except two problems. It is censored and it takes your information. Well, it's hard to find a tech company that don't, but let me introduce you to one. Shout out to my sponsor, Venice AI, which allows you to protect your information and avoid censorship. Now ask yourself, why should a team of programmers at these leading AI apps be the ones to decide what is okay for you to ask and think? Also, would you be comfortable if the presidential administration could govern what AI tells you? Man, I know I wouldn't. But also, while you think about that, did you know that? Let me tell you this, it's gonna be crazy, but ChatGPT has a former director of the NSA sitting on their board right now, guys. And shout out to that man, Edward Snowden. He called this a willful, calculated betrayal of the rights of every person on Earth. And we all know how Alexa is. Alexa listens to us and recommends products based on our conversations. I mean, talk about a violation of privacy. But guys, these are just a few reasons I decided to team up with Venice AI and get you a better options or solutions to your AI needs. Now, guys, you can go ahead and check these guys out with my promo code. So shout out to Venice AI. Now, if you want to use AI without fear of handing over your most intimate thoughts to a corporation or government, you can get 20% off a pro plan using my link, Venice AI SET, and use the code SET. Man, so shout out, guys. So make sure you guys use the code. Put it up one more time for you guys right there. Once again, guys, if you guys want to go ahead and have unleashed AI, uncensored AI, go ahead and tap in with my guys at Venice AI, guys. Hey, this is SET and appreciate the support. And shout out to the sponsor. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Yo, this is SET with SET Media, guys, and I'm back with another one for you guys. All right, man, let's get first into it with Trump giving a quick briefing on, well, hurricanes and other disasters. And also, we're going to once again go into the criticisms of this whole LA riot. And Trump has initially announced this as well, an insurrection. So, I mean, what I say, guys, I told you so. It always goes like that for some reason. It's go from protest, turn riot, right into an insurrection. But all right, guys, make sure we double tap that screen and like the video. Let's go.
Doug Burgum, Brooke Rollins, and a couple of other very well-known people are standing behind me. They're going to say a few words as to what they're doing with respect to response on wildfires and stopping wildfires due to proper management, proper forest management. And I just want to thank you all for being. And maybe, Brooke, I'll ask you to start.
That sounds great, yes, sir. And Secretary Burgum, first of all, thank you, Mr. President, for inviting us here to the White House to provide an update on our coordinated efforts across your federal government to ensure our nation's wildland firefighting system is focused on fighting wildfires quickly and effectively. Sir, you have made it clear from the beginning that strong leadership and decisive action and the protection of American lives and communities are the top priorities for both Secretary Burgum and for me this
not only feels Gavin Newsom's top priority
fire season.
It's a bit loud.
As you can see from the red areas on the map over here on the president's left, this is going to be an above normal fire season, which is why we wanted to, sir, ensure that we were taking direction from you and moving forward. This means that a higher likelihood of large and intense wildfires than typically expected for this time of year for the next few months. This means that people, homes, communities, and landscapes are at risk, and the need for firefighters and fire support personnel is clear. America has the largest and the most well-respected wildland firefighting force in the world. Secretary Burgum and I already have given direction to our firefighting organizations to take whatever actions are necessary to ensure that we are operationally ready. The Department of Interior and the Department of Agriculture employ over 17,000 federal wildland firefighters every year. At the peak of fire capacity, our surge with their interagency, tribal, state, local, will have approximately 13,000 additional wildfire personnel. We know that the best and most cost-effective way to stop these terrible fires is to remove the fuel load that feeds them. And we can talk a little bit about the timber executive order and the timber leadership the president has led on. We are working at both of our agencies to eliminate all red tape, cut costs, and increase our timber sales and active management to reduce the intensity of these wildfires when they start. We are increasing timber production by 25%, thanks to President Trump, with the goal of not only supporting our industry partners and our rural communities, but also reducing the number of catastrophic wildfires. Finally, both the Forest Service reducing hazardous fuels on our 4.2 million acres and the Department of Interior on their 2.4 million acres annually, getting rid of the low value, overgrown trees, and brush crowding of our forests. One final point, we are 96% capacity in terms of our firefighting hiring, and this is actually ahead of where President Biden and his team was a year ago. So I want to make sure that's very clear. We are all on board and moving forward with a fully operational, we will be more ready than ever before for this season. Thank you, sir.
very much. Please, Doug.
And hopefully that is a nationwide effort, so we don't have to sit here and watch Gavin Newsom keep, effing up when it comes to wildfires. Now, I mean, the riots doesn't really have anything to do with wildfires, but it is crazy how they just got done with fires and now they're lighting fires all throughout the streets. I mean, so much for climate change and, the environment.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Secretary Rollins, for the partnership that we have between the U.S. Forest Service and the Department of Interior. There's over 700 million acres of surface land that the federal government manages in this country. And under President Trump's orders, we are now actually managing that land. When we get back into timber production as driven by his EO, we're actually then helping rural communities. We're helping people that are in the lumber business, helping bring those lumber products back home. As we stepped away from this industry, President Trump is now bringing it back.
And this is part of kind of separating from Canada when it comes to the lumber industry. Because like I said, we mainly buy, about a couple months ago, I was saying that, yeah, we do buy most of our lumber from Canada. But now we can rely on our own lumber and use that. We have plenty of lumber that we can use instead of going straight to Canada. And let's be real, it probably help us out way more than buying it from Canada ever would. So, hey, I'm all for it.
And we, as a nation, we're now, before President Trump backing up, we were burning more timber than we were harvesting in this country. When we spend a dollar on prevention, we save hundreds of dollars on the back end on firefighting. This is going to save Americans dollars when we're out there preventing fires and stopping fires when they begin versus letting these fires become huge and then causing the destruction we have. With the growth of our country around urban areas, there's been a 30% growth of what's called the wildlands and urban interface. When this happens, people start building homes, like the tragedy that President Trump visited in California where so many people lost their lives. But this is where we're essentially creating cities in the middle of forests, but not doing the forest management and creating that deadly fire load out of there. But now we intermix communities with above ground power lines. This can lead to dangerous situations. So President Trump committed to us doing fire management. We'll reduce that fire load. In addition to that, there's a proposal, which Russ has included in the president's OMB budget for the unification, because between Secretary Rollins and the U.S. Forest Service across Interior, we have 4 different firefighting groups across U.S. Fish and Wildlife, the Bureau of Land Management, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the National Park Service. These 5 groups under the proposal are going to be unified in terms of their leadership, and so we've got consistent strategies and consistent tactics. But then when we have these thousands of people that are out there fighting fires and putting their lives at work to protect our communities, we also have to step up, as President Trump knows, with our military. We've got to make sure that these brave firefighters are out there actually have the same equipment. In some cases, we're decades behind. And
you know what's funny? I did hear it's not just California. There are other states that are like extremely fire prone, or have a fire disaster potential, and they don't spend as much as on their fire department. I mean, think about it like this: in dry areas like Arizona and Nevada, they spend less on their fire department than we do, and we have a way less of a fire disaster here in Ohio than we could ever have out. We could ever have out there in Nevada. I think you guys get the point.
in terms of giving them the technology they need for either early detection or for saving their own lives. We've got some great examples of where we have good collaboration going between the federal government in Alaska, the state of Alaska, for example, and then also at the National Interagency Fire Center in Idaho, where we are already coordinating. Brooke and I have already held a joint briefing with the fire leaders about this fire season. So we'll continue to unify this work, but we have to work with the states because this year there have been 1.2 million acres already burned. Only 25% of that's been on federal. The other 75% has been on state lands or private lands. And so together we have to work to protect America.
And the federal lands, what we use to get our resources, you know, drill baby drill, critical minerals and all that good stuff. So yeah, federal lands being burned is not a good thing. But I mean, to be quite honest though, the land that we actually live on, I mean, that's honestly worse to me because that's land that people could sit there and live on themselves. What they're trying to do in LA right now, though, is, I mean, they're damn near about to try to create a ghetto there at this point because they're going to do a bunch of multi-family housing, and you all know where that leads to. Man. All right, let's go.
Resources. And under President Trump's leadership, we've got the guidance through the EOs to make that happen.
Thank you very much. Doug has done a great job. They all are. Russell, vote.
Sure. Thanks, Mr. President.
Oh, guys, do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Appreciate the support. And if you're on Twitter, make sure to heart the video. Appreciate the support, guys. Let's keep it going.
From a funding perspective, the accounts that support the important work that these cabinet secretaries are doing are funded. They're flush. The main one, the Disaster Relief Fund, has $13 billion. It's projected to get us all the way into the end of the fiscal year. So we're in a very good place, and the president has personally been a steward of the taxpayer resources on every one of the expenses that the states have come in for to put us in a position where we are ready for this season. Thank you.
Great job. Thanks, Russ.
Yeah, Mr. President, we are in hurricane season right now. It will last for the next several months, and we are prepared for what is coming. We are anticipating that we will have higher than usual activity during this hurricane season. We could have 3 to 5 major storms, up to a dozen other hurricane level thresholds that we will meet throughout this season. And FEMA stands prepared and has been working with all of our regions on training, pre-deploying resources, making sure that individuals are out there ready to respond to each state as they bring the necessary resources to take care of their people. But also, sir, you've been very clear that you want to see FEMA eliminated as it exists today. So I'm preparing all of these governors that they will have more control over the decisions on how they respond to their communities so that it can help it happen faster.
See, I'd have been all for that idea if we just ain't see Gavin Newsom just completely drop the ball on that. Like, we're saying we're gonna hope that the governor sits there and be like, you know what, my people are in trouble. Let me make sure I release this disaster relief. Yeah, you know what? I would feel secure in that idea if I just didn't watch Gavin Newsom completely F up.
That they can pre-deploy resources and help coordinate on communication as well. So while we are running this hurricane season, making sure that we have pre-staged and worked with the regions that are traditionally hit in these areas, we're also building communication and mutual aid agreements among states to respond to each other so that they can stand on their own 2 feet with the federal government coming in catastrophic circumstances with funding. But we all know from the past that FEMA has failed thousands, if not millions of people. And President Trump does not want to see that continue into the future. So this agency fundamentally needs to go away as it exists. And we need to have a response to states that supports them when terrible things come and when the worst day of their lives happens, to where the financial resources are there, but they have decision-making power right there in the state to respond. So,
and remember, I exposed last during the election cycle that FEMA, they literally have a policy where they was literally designating at least like $1.4 billion to humanitarian services for non-citizens. So yes, the FEMA dollars are supposed to be for natural disasters that happen on the American people. Some of it was being used for, humanitarian services for non-citizens. And that was one of the atrocities of FEMA, because who else? I mean, I'm sorry, but where else was they sending money to, unbeknownst to the American people? Because let's be real, not everybody's going to go through FEMA's website and sit there and read it like I did. Let's go.
The next several months, we expect it to be high activity, and the federal government is here to support the people of the United States. With President Trump's leadership, while he's doing that, he's also going to make sure that they're better set up for the future so that they have the ability to really take care of their families when a crisis or a terrible storm does hit. We've got many governors that just recently had terrible, tragic losses from tornadoes, from other events that went through their states, and FEMA was extremely responsive, and they've all been very happy. I think, Mr. President, you even spoke to one of those governors this morning, who is very happy, and the Missouri governor as well, who is very happy. As soon as something happens in their state, I'm in direct communication with the governors to make sure they have what they need, but also making sure that they have the ability to make decisions to respond to the people that live in their states.
Thank you very much. Great job, everybody. So we want to wean off of FEMA, and we want to bring it down to the state level. A little bit like education, we're moving it back to the states so the governors can handle it. That's why they're governors now. If they can't handle it, they shouldn't be governor. But these governors can handle it, and they'll work in conjunction with other governors. They'll give each other a hand. But the FEMA,
obviously, Gavin Newsom can't run California. Maybe he should have a smaller state. I don't know, like Rhode Island or something. Something so small that if you F it up, it don't really matter. I mean, no offense, Rhode Island, but I'm just saying, though, effing up Cali, it hurts. It definitely does hurt the American people and the American economy. I mean, damn near American pride, because how can we let like California fall like this? Like literally the pride of our country, and we're letting it go out like this? Yep, that's why we need to go ahead and get the Marines, National Guard going there, because this is an insurrection. They are trying to overthrow. They're trying to overthrow the law. They're really trying to take over California, if you want to be honest. There are a bunch of illegals there, and there are citizens and illegals alike that are literally trying to fight the authorities for, well, I guess what, the right to stay there? Yeah, and that's considered an insurrection.
FEMA thing has not been a very successful experiment. Very, very expensive, and it doesn't get the job done. You saw what happened in North Carolina under the past administration. And when we got in, we did a great job for North Carolina, brought it back, but it was a disaster, FEMA. And it has not worked out well. It's extremely expensive. And again, when you have a tornado or a hurricane, or you have a problem of any kind in a state, that's what you have governors for. They're supposed to fix those problems. And it's much more local, and they'll develop a system, and I think it'll be a great system. And also when it comes to forest fires. So for years I've been meeting with heads of other countries, and they are forest countries. They call themselves forest, Austria and others. And they say, we're a forest nation, we live in a forest, and they don't have forest fires. And in one case he said, you know, our trees are much more flammable than California, but we don't have forest fires because we clean the floor, we sweep the floor of leaves, of dead debris, of trees that fall, because after 18 months, the tree is like it's like tinderwood, and it goes up, it virtually explodes. Well, we don't take the trees out. California is a disaster, what they've done in California. They don't do anything. And if you did, you almost would not have forest fires. And you could say in theory, you shouldn't have.
Let's be real. Under the leadership of Gavin Newsom, California has failed in every, way, shape, and form. And this LA riot is only proof. And then the fact that the left is just trying to low-key throw a blanket over this low-key impossible situation to cover. Like, I don't know how the Dems do it, but look, y'all try to do it y'all did it during the election damn near successfully, where you would throw blankets over situations so you can win an argument. You can't do this with the LA riot, and this is kind of karma coming to bite y'all in the ass. You finally met something that you just can't throw under a blanket and then blame Trump for. Nope, can't do it with this one, but y'all try. Well, you guys will try.
Many forest fires, and we spend billions and billions of dollars a year because people don't clean the forests, and we're going to clean the forests. We're going to start cleaning them. We're going to get rid of dead wood. The environmentalists say, oh no, let it regenerate. It doesn't regenerate. It just sits there and it usually catches fire. And we're going to have a whole new system, and it's called forest management. And if you look at some of these countries in Europe and other places that literally live in forests, very flammable forests, and they don't have problems. And they call me, they don't even know how it's possible that we can have the fires that we have. And the people behind me know that very well, and we're going to start working on that system, and we're going to save a lot of trees. We're also going to cut down trees and replant new trees, and that whole industry is going to be growing because we don't need the help of anybody. We have just about more or as much.
Yeah, like I said, this whole lumber thing was all about separating from Canada and establishing our own lumber pipeline or supply chain, so we can go ahead and kind of lean off Canada, which once again is one of the main thing they kind of feed off us on. And like Trump said, he's proving it to Canada in their face. Honestly, you know, day by day, I'm starting to think that Trump is actually serious about this whole, you know, 51st state thing. Because then he really wouldn't be trying to pull these moves on Canada. It's like, dang, bro, you're trying to take away some of their main industries that they profit us from us on. You're trying to take away those? What are you trying to do to them? Bankrupt them? Then they're going to have to become a 51st state. They have no choice. Then you want to make them pay billions to get protected by the Golden Dome. Like, day by day, it just seems more and more plausible that this man is actually serious about it. Like, we said he wasn't, but I ain't going to lie, I might have been wrong about that.
More than almost anybody else in terms of lumber and wood. So we're going to be doing some great work having to do with forest fires. It's going to start effective, really it started a few months ago, and it's forest management. And Doug, I think you're really the head of that. Interiors, I guess you're the largest landlord perhaps anywhere in the world, I understand. That's a nice position. You may want to just give a few words on the cleaning of the floor of the forests.
Well, happy to do that. And of course, as President Trump had said, yes, between Interior and Forest Service, it was just part of USDA, 700 million acres of surface area, much of that is in forest land. That is a tremendous resource. It's part of America's balance sheet. When we let it burn, then we actually have to spend money coming through FEMA and other places. So we spend taxpayer dollars cleaning up a mess that could have been prevented. Under President Trump, when we get back into the timber business, which up to 30 years ago, we were one of the great timber producers in the world. The communities thrived in these rural communities. We had lumber mills, we had manufacturing, we had furniture makers in this country. All of that went away when we...
Oh, guys, and do me a favor, man. We got 200 plus y'all in here, man. Go ahead and double tap that screen for me. Let's get more people on the conversation by getting those likes up. Appreciate the support, guys. Let's keep it going.
Stopped harvesting our own timber, and today we import about as much timber as we used to harvest ourselves. If we can get back in the timber business, that can help on the balance of trade, reduce imports.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the in the timber industry is where fair trade fails. Because like I said, fair trade only really works is if it's almost impossible to get lumber here. Like if it was impossible to get lumber here and the only place we can get it was Canada, then fair trade is necessary. But since that's not the case and we can pretty much sustain our own demand of lumber, yeah, it didn't make too much sense and only took business away from the U.S. while helping a country that, I mean, don't really like us too much.
From foreign countries
now they
and have American jobs. But to make that all happen, again, under President Trump's leadership, we have to get back in the timber business and get back in the game. And when we do that, we have to make sure that we're doing prevention, not just fighting fires after they all get out of control. And so again, working with OMB and others to make sure that we've got the budget for doing the prevention work and the forest management upfront reduces the expense and the cost on the back end of fighting these massive fires. But again, coordinating across all of our 5 different major firefighting groups today, it's like having 5 generals in the field. They may have different strategies and different tactics. They even have different pay levels. Brooke and I are working to make sure that regardless of which service and branch that you're in, that you're going to have a similar pay, that we're going to have everybody equipped with the right technology to protect them when they're out in the field. Just basic stuff that they don't have today that we were giving our military 20 years ago in terms of and then using technology to be able to identify fires when they first start. I mean, with infrared, satellite, drones, I mean, there's technology where we can pick out a fire when it just barely begins and it costs us nothing to put it out versus when it scales up and becomes these massive fires that endanger communities, lives, and our firefighters.
Excuse my language, but bro, where the hell was this at? What you got? They basically, bro, just said, hey, yeah, we got, satellite technology. We can detect the fire before it gets bad. I mean, bro, where the hell was this at about, I don't know, maybe like a year ago? You could have prevented a lot of things from happening with this satellite technology that we have. Like, when we start doing this?
So President Trump, of course, has got a common sense strategy. He's empowering all of the leadership that's standing up here today for us to go get this job done. It's going to get America back in the timber business. We're going to put out fires when they're small and as opposed to when we can't control them when they're large. And we're going to have revenue coming into the federal government from those timber sales, as opposed to those timber leases to the private companies, as opposed to revenue going out through FEMA after the fact when we're cleaning up a mess. So the whole thing makes complete sense. And Brooke and I and Christy and Russ, we're all excited to go out and implement the president's vision.
And we have some of the best timber anywhere in the world, and we don't use it. We've freed it up. Lee Zeldin's done an incredible job in that regard.
Yeah.
From environment.
Should have a crazy surplus of timber. I mean, we've been importing most of our timber, so trust me, we just have a substantial amount of timber, lumber, however you want to say. But yeah, we have a substantial amount of timber to the point where, well, we really don't need, he's right, we don't need Canada. And due to the fact that we've been buying our timber from Canada for so long, we've only let our timber continue to grow.
Environmental restrictions that are ridiculous, and a lot of it's been freed up. The rest of it's being freed up. Some areas will continue to protect, but we're going to be freeing up most of it. And again, we have some of the best in the world. And when I hear you say that we lost more in fires than we produce, is so crazy, because we shouldn't lose very much at all. I mean, I could say we shouldn't lose any if it was perfect, but it should not be ever like what we've seen. We're sending billions of dollars to California all the time, because obviously in California they are not doing a good job in any way, shape, or form.
Bro.
Any other thing either. So with that, I'm heading to Fort Bragg right now. I think the helicopter's landing as we speak. But if you want, we'll take a few questions.
Mr. President, invoke the Insurrection Act to deal with the situation in California.
If there's an insurrection, I would certainly invoke it. We'll see. But I can tell you, last night was terrible.
Actually, man, last night was absolutely hilarious. How everybody was trying to say Trump had no right to invoke the National Guard, to pretty much bring the National Guard into the situation when, well, his Article 10 powers do. And it's funny because if you actually read his Article 10, executive powers that Trump has, yeah, under these circumstances that, well, thanks to the rioters, they gave Trump the window to bring in the National Guard. And one, because they're trying to stop Trump from, well, executing immigration policies through ICE. So since they're stopping ICE, that means what they're doing, they're trying to stop the American law, aka go against the American government. And we got a whole bunch of illegals here who's pretty much telling us, hey man, you're gonna have to fight us. I mean, that's pretty much an insurrection, guys. We got a bunch of illegals and citizens alike down there pretty much saying, you're not gonna get us out of here unless you make us. Okay. I hope you know what that comes with.
The night before that was terrible. We have, as you've seen, it was on most of your networks, people with big, heavy hammers pounding the concrete and pounding curbs, pounding it, breaking up, and handing these big chunks of concrete to people. And they were taking that concrete, going up on bridges and dropping it into the roof of a car. They were throwing it at our police. They were throwing it at our soldiers that are there. And we got it stopped, and we have them in custody right now. Look, if we didn't get involved, right now, Los Angeles would be burning, just like it was burning a number of months ago with all the houses that were lost. Los Angeles right now would be on fire.
Oh, guys, do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people in on the conversation and get the video a push. Appreciate the support, guys. Let's keep it going. If you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, $2 and up, I'll be happy to read it out loud.
Fire. And we have it in great shape.
And engage it.
We're not playing around.
How will you determine whether or not there is an insurrection?
Well,
And then
take a
also,
look at what's happening. I mean, I could tell you there were certain areas of Los Angeles that you could have called it an insurrection. It was terrible. But these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid troublemakers. They get money. And when you take a look at what they do, where they show up and everyone's saying, what's he doing? He's pounding the curbs. This one guy's pounding the curb, breaking the curb, and handing big pieces of granite. In some cases, it's granite and concrete to other people. And they're running out with it. And then we watch the other people, and they try and throw it into the face of the soldiers, throw it into the face of the police, and they hurt some people very badly. They go up on bridges, they drop it down on the cars as the cars are moving. They're not playing.
I was about to call BS, but I was like, damn, isn't granite pretty hard to break with a hammer? But yeah, you can pretty much break granite with a hammer, and you can start throwing those very, very hard pieces. Jesus. And I was actually showing video of a kid who was actually had the biker helmet on, who was literally throwing rocks at cars as they passed.
Breaking the curb because they're doing a demolition service. They're breaking it to hand out to people as a weapon. That's it's bad stuff. I've never seen that before.
Mr. President.
You know, ICE agents already had, like, you know, broken arms, shattered arms. Some of these guys have gotten hurt just through the glass debris, since the rock would just go straight through it. And, you know, some of these guys got stronger windshields, but let's be real, LAPD, I mean, they ain't coming like the National Guard or ICE. So yeah, a lot of these officers are actually getting hurt. I mean, LAPD is getting hurt, ICE is getting hurt, and local law enforcement from all over. Even the sheriffs are out there catching a fade from these protesters.
How soon do you want to see FEMA eliminated? And what's your message to the governors about how much more of an expense is going to fall to states for disaster
well, it's
response?
not going to be so much the states. We're going to give out less money. We're going to give it out directly. It'll be from the president's office. We'll have somebody here. Could be Homeland Security, but we're going to give it out through a method where it's given out. As an example, I just gave out $71 million to a certain state. They were looking to do about 120. They were very happy with the 71 million. We did a little cutting, and they were very happy with it. So we're going to do it much differently. We think after this, Christy, I'd say after the hurricane.
I'm going to take a quick pause to show you this very interesting video. Very interesting. All right, guys, let's get right into it.
This is our city, and this was Mexico. You can't.
Remember, guys, this is how they really feel. Remember, this is how they really feel, and this is why it's kind of deemed as an insurrection, because if you got people who thinks like this, yeah, there's no peaceful way of getting things done with people who think like this. Listen, all right, guys, let's listen to it.
This is our city, and this was Mexico. You can't kick us out of the land that was ours. Donald Trump! Fascism! Let our people free! ¡Suelta nuestra gente!
What's the windblower for?
Just for the fucking tear gas to blow it back at those motherfuckers. If you have fucking blower, bring it up! Push them back! We will not do 1992 again with your fucking tanks! I was 12 then! I'm 44 now! I will die for my fucking kids! And all of these young people are here are my fucking kids! Because I'm an LA native mom! These are my fucking children you're fighting! You! Make your best! If you can hear me!
Damn.
In your office!
I mean, they even mad at the people that's damn near trying to keep them there.
Don't mind if I'm attacking my children!
If you could say something to Donald Trump right now, what would you say?
Donald Trump! You can suck my left nut, you can get him.
Wait, that's a guy.
Drawer. You're just mad because Salma Hayek wouldn't give you the time of day.
Maybe.
And because Claudia Sheinbaum make you look like a loser.
Okay. Well, at least we know how they feel, right? At least we know exactly how they feel. It's always best to know how the other side feels, at least. At least you know where they're coming from. Well, I'll be quite honest, I may not agree with it, but I see where they're coming with this. Man, and don't worry, guys. We'll watch the full video to that later.
Yes, sir. We've set up a FEMA council over the next couple of months. We'll be working on reforms and what FEMA will look like in the future as a different agency, as under the Department of Homeland Security to the president's vision. And it will empower governors to go out and respond to emergency situations. And that what the president does best is to make sure that the taxpayers are only fulfilling the need to which is appropriate, and that people are responsible to respond to their own people closest to home. So
If a certain state, as an example, gets hit by a hurricane or tornado, that's what a governor should be able to handle it. And frankly, if they can handle it, the aftermath, then maybe they shouldn't be governor.
And Mr. President, when is the last time you spoke with Governor Newsom?
Shout out Daniel Castro. He's like, I see where they're going, though. I do. It's like, all right, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to be straight up insurrectionist, or you're trying to bring up old history. Like I said, I remember I was like literally looking at the pictures of the protests, and one lady said, there's no such thing as illegals on stolen land. And I'm just like, God damn, y'all really have this idea that you guys can just come over here illegally and then stay here? And then try to tell us that, oh, well, it's stolen land, so you can't tell us what to do on your land that you guys have jurisdiction over. I mean, man. This doesn't make any sense with the arguments they're hitting us with. It lets us know that they have no respect for our laws. And this is why it's an insurrection. And I'm gonna tell you why you can't compare this to January 6th. Because in January 6th, they were just protesting the results of an election. They just wanted a recount, goddamn it. These people, there's no reconciliation with these guys. There is no meeting in the middle with them. We have to deport them. That's it. That's it. And if they want to stand there and tell us that we can't and that they won't unless we do something about it, then yeah, sorry, that's a bit of an insurrection. The January 6ers didn't sit there and say, hey, yo, you got to take us all out the game before you certify this election. That wasn't their stance. They just wanted it to be recounted. They just wanted to be looked over and investigated. They didn't get that, and it is what it is. But these guys, like, bro, their stance is literally, we're going to be here, and you're going to have to do something about it.
A day ago.
Oh, and shout out to my man droning in the senior. He said, Idiocracy, 48 IQ with daddy wallet. I'm done. Shout out to my man Vladstein as well. He says, if they don't want to allow Fed operations in their city, put federal checkpoints surrounding the city and check every person going in and out. Hey, fuck around, find out. Man, I like that.
Called him up to tell him, got to do a better job.
But, hey, got to get done regardless. Like, hey, if you guys want to make it difficult for us to do it inside the city, we'll just wait till you try to leave the city and catch you out there. But then God knows what they'll do then. Like I said, they're already on the highways already.
Doing a bad job, causing a lot of death and a lot of potential death. If we didn't send out the National Guard, and last time we gave them a little additional help, you would have, Los Angeles would be burning right now. Los Angeles would be not a lot different than what you saw take place in California and Los Angeles just a little while ago. And, you know, you got to remember, we have the Olympics.
And it just looks bad. I'm like, first you guys have the LA fires, and now you got the LA riots. And I'm just like, what's going on over there? Like, and here's the thing. Both of these can be prevented with, well, at least decent leadership, competent leadership. But I mean, when you're just so incompetent as much as the leadership of California, there's really nothing you could do for these guys. And shout out to my man, Uncle Ben. He said, appreciate you, brothers. And hey, man, shout out to the supporters. Appreciate you guys.
It's coming. And we don't want people looking at Los Angeles like it would have been. It would have been bad. Last night, they had total control. If we didn't have the military in there, the National Guard, and then we also sent in some Marines, we had some bad people. We have people, they look in your face and they spit right in your face. They're animals. And these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid troublemakers. They're agitators. They're paid. Do you think somebody walks up to a curb and starts...
AKA, they don't believe in it. They just believe in taking advantage of the situation. Or they believe in an organization and paying them to go out there and be outraged against something that they really don't care about. I mean, there's also, you know, like I said, the looting aspect, the stealing aspect that arises, the opportunity to loot that arises out of these riots. You know, there's also that as well. That makes the situation a whole lot worse. A whole lot worse. Like, man. And he said, he was plants craves. He said, Broadon has what plants crave. Hey, shout out to my man, Drum King.
Hammering pieces out, has all the equipment necessary, and starts handing it out to people to use as a weapon. These are paid insurrectionists or agitators or troublemakers. You can call it whatever you want. And we ended it, and we have in custody some very bad people. Some very bad people.
Mr. President.
Did you see the guy throwing the rocks at the police cars as they went by?
I did.
And crushing their windows and endangering our police? We're not going to let that happen, yeah.
Pardon me, Mr. President. On those Marines, Governor Newsom has described them as political pawns.
Brondo has what plants crave. Okay, my bad.
I'm curious for your reaction to that and what you see as the Marines' role and what are their rules of engagement?
My bad,
All I want is safety. I just want a safe area. We have, Los Angeles was under siege until we got there. The police were unable to handle it. You can speak to the chief. He said it on television 3 nights ago. He said, this is more than we can handle. They said that. And the LA police, I know a lot of the police in LA, they're good, they're great people, but they're given instructions not to do this, not to do that. But in this case, they were trying their best. They were not able to handle it. It was out of control. When we got there, and you have to remember, I've been here before, and I went right by every rule. And I waited for governors to say, send in the National Guard. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. And they just wouldn't do it. It kept going on and on, got worse and worse. And in Minneapolis, that city was burning.
It seemed like that was the goal, to let it get worse and worse and worse. And then at the peak of it, just let's blame Trump. That was the problem. And let's be real, it's not because Trump sent in the National Guard. Like, the reason these riots popped off is because ICE agents were doing raid in the area, and these people had a problem with it. They said, no, you're not going to take out these members of our community who just happen to be illegals. No. And here's the thing, we're actually going after the worst of them. So some of these guys we were going after actually committed heinous crimes, and probably the people of the town ain't know, or LA ain't know. We're like, yo, we're literally taking out the worst of the worst right now. We're not even going after everybody for real. We're not going after the guys in Walmart. We're not going after the guys on the construction site right now. We're just getting the worst of the worst. Once we get those, then to be quite honest, then we're going to go ahead and get the rest of the guys in Walmart and on the construction site. To be honest, okay? You got to get the criminals out first, though.
7 days, and I said, I don't care. The governor, who's a governor that just happened to be running for vice president, a total, you talk about an incompetent governor, he's an incompetent person, that he was picked. Well, I was actually very happy he was picked for other reasons. But this guy wouldn't call the National Guard. And we ultimately just sent in the National Guard. We stopped it. But that was after 7 days. And I said to myself, if that stuff happens again, we've got to make faster decisions, because they don't want to do it. The radical left, it's usually radical left, and it's usually governors that are Democrat, and they don't want to call them in. They don't want to save lives. They don't want to save property. They don't want to call them in. I don't know what it is. We sent them in, not early, we sent them in late as far as I'm concerned. But big problems, as you know, 3 nights ago, big problems were ensuing. If we didn't send in the National Guard quickly, right now, Los Angeles would be burning to the ground.
The Marines is, a lot of people think, an escalatory
No,
step.
literally, the ICE agents would have just had to retreat, and they'd have got what they wanted. And let's be honest, that's not what we want. And then that would honestly create an example for the rest of Mexico. Okay, cool. Let's all flood Los Angeles, because now we know that we can pretty much fight off the government, and we'll just go ahead and take over California altogether. And then when Gavin Newsom ends up, well, no, let me not go too far into that. But let's say when Gavin Newsom automatically ends up being overthrown by some party in Mexico that just takes over California, let's not be surprised here. So this is why we need to state this as an insurrection, because if we let this be an example of that, oh, well, if they just fight hard enough, they can fight off the American government, they can just subvert our immigration laws. What do you think that's going to open up? Exactly.
Though, these are guys who fight wars. Are you at all concerned that things could get out of hand with Marines?
When I see people throwing concrete into cars, when I see people, the kind of people that I saw on your network doing danger to the police and to the military and to the National Guard, no, it's okay. You know, you start running out of people when you have 2,000 people from a National Guard standpoint. We have a very big military, but the National Guard, they needed a little extra help, and we sent them a little, and we did a great job last night. We had, well, you had a lot of cars go up in smoke and flame, and you had a lot of bad scenes, but it was pretty minor by comparison. This morning it's very calm. We'll see what happens later. But they know if they go there, they're not going to get anywhere, because we have the National Guard there. We backed it up with a number of Marines, yeah.
Mr. President, do you agree with Governor Abbott soon signing legislation to mandate the 10 Commandments in school classrooms?
Having to do with what?
Governor Abbott soon going to sign legislation to mandate displays of the 10 Commandments in school classrooms. Do you support him?
I have to take a look at it. I'm going to have to look at it.
Will the National Guard be in California indefinitely? How long will they be there until you think?
Until there's no danger. It's easy. Look, it's common sense. You ask me that question. When there's no danger, they'll leave. You would have had a horrible situation had I not sent them in. Horrible. You'd be reporting on a lot of death and a lot of destruction that's not going to take place. I think if you look, every night it got less and less. They were met with very strong force, the bad people, the bad, sick people that do what they do. But these are paid people in many cases, not in all cases, but in many cases. And they really are, they're agitators.
Yo, did this man really just say, you know what, when it's safe? You know what I thought right there when he said, Yeah, when it's safe, they'll go ahead and leave. I'm like, bro, they're about to be there all freaking year. Like, all year they're going to be there. What? Like, Trump, it's LA. That means you're going to have to do way more crackdowns, and then you're going to have to go after the other ones. Like, bro, I'm not even going to lie. LA might have low-key brung a martial law upon itself. Like, you guys are going to have the National Guard in there for probably about maybe like a couple months to a year, depending on how bad the situation is.
I was wondering if you had any response to Mexican President Sheinbaum, who condemned the violence there. Have you been in touch with her at all?
Said what?
I was wondering if you had any response to what Mexican President Claudine Sheinbaum said in response.
What'd she say?
She condemned the violence in LA.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah. Have you been in touch with her at all?
Well, you think I don't condemn it? I condemn the violence in LA, ladies and gentlemen, but I also stopped the violence in LA. And by doing what I did, I stopped the violence in LA. And that would have been, I think, maybe I'd ask Christie to speak to that. That would have been an unbelievable tragedy. We would be talking, I don't know that would even be here right now. It would have been so bad, I'd probably maybe be out there. I don't know, but Christie, could you speak to that?
Absolutely. So in 2020, I was a governor of a neighboring state to Tim Walz and watched him let his city burn. And the president and I have talked about this in the past, and he was not going to let that happen to another city and to another community where a bad governor made a bad decision. So
yep, and the people of, well, I believe Minnesota suffered under Tim Walz because, well, he did not want to just put out the National Guard. People were literally rioting the street. They were looting. They were hurting innocent people, trying to break into houses of innocent people. Like, it just turned into complete anarchy, and this man refused to call in the National Guard. That's what I'm saying. We sat by and let the Democrats literally watch their city burn to the ground before, and it's like, we're trying not to let y'all do it again. And bro, the Dems should be thanking Trump because, bro, we're literally stopping Newsom from letting one of his best cities be destroyed. I mean, well, maybe used to be the best city. I mean, damn, actually, does California have any more good cities at this point? Or did y'all like screw that all up with high crime, high drug use, and high immigration? At least the weather nice, right?
Claudia Sheinbaum came out and encouraged more protests in LA, and I condemn her for that. She should not be encouraging violent protests that are going on. If people are allowed to peacefully protest, but the violence that we're seeing is not acceptable, and it's not going to happen in America. This president is standing up for the average American who wants to walk their child to school every day safely, run their small business, and provide for their families. That's the action that he's taken. He has every authority under the Constitution to send these National Guard under Title 10 into these communities and make sure that operations go smoothly, that law enforcement officers are protected, that they can continue to do their work without fear of being injured or killed or disrespected, and that they can go home to their families at night. So I'm incredibly proud of the president for activating the National Guard and for sending in these Marines, because these Marines are specifically trained to meet the need that we have on the ground in LA right now. Ooh. And Governor Newsom has... Ooh,
boy, not the Marines, bro. I almost feel bad for these guys. I'm like, the Marines? It's like 700 of the most disgruntled Marines, most angriest, bored Marines you can find is waiting to tear something up. Like, those Marines? Yeah, y'all might just want to, like, come on, guys. Dems, it's not too late to walk it back and start locking up some of your illegals, start locking up some of these protesters. Do it yourself. Take the initiative, because if you let Trump take the initiative, it's going to get bad. I'm going to be real with you. These police or these National Guards and Marines may not leave for months. And at that point, everybody in LA just get on out, man. They didn't screw it up. Well, to the end. And shout out to the big, beautiful ICE. It's the greatest in all of history. Trump voice. I'm done. Big, beautiful ICE. Well, in that big, beautiful bill, trust me, ICE is going to get a lot bigger under that, and they are not going to like that part. But, hey, got to spend money on that one. You got to make sure that money's appropriated.
Done a disservice to the state of California for many years. The people there should never elect him into a leadership position ever again.
The governor's a nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent. When it comes to his railroad that he's building, where it's like 30 times over budget, nobody's ever seen anything like it. Now it doesn't even go to San Francisco and LA. It's way short of it. After years of work and overruns, like those contractors are some of the wealthiest people in the world, I guarantee you that. because that money goes to those contractors. They just did a number on the wallet of the people of California. That train, you should look at that train. That is the greatest. I've never seen cost over.
Oh, guys, let's make sure we double tap that screen and like the video. Appreciate the support, by the way. But yes, let's make sure we double tap that screen. All right, guys, let's make sure we get those likes up. And him making fun of Gavin Newsom's, well, train efforts. Well, one, California has way too much regulations. Like, people can't even add like additions to their house without having to go through California regulations. So trust me, it is kind of funny how California has all these big infrastructure ideas, but they don't want to cut back on some of these regulations. It's like, you guys kind of go get yourselves. But I mean, shoot, that's California in almost every dem.
I've seen cost overruns and great incompetence over my life. I've never seen anything like that.
Mr. President, these protests obviously started in reaction to these large-scale ICE operations in Los Angeles. Should people expect to see similar operations in the rest of the country?
Yeah.
And will similar protests see similar response?
As you know, we're moving murderers out of our country that were put here by Biden or the auto pen. The auto pen really did. I mean, the people, whether it's Lisa Monaco or whoever operated the auto pen, these are criminals. People are criminals that allowed these criminals into our country. And I don't think that Biden knew what the hell he was doing. I don't think he even knew about it. But when they opened up our borders for the whole world to come in, yeah, we're going to get them out. We're getting them out. We're starting to get acknowledgement from the courts that, you know, there's a system. They come in without courts and they go out, they want trials and everything else. I think that's starting to work out.
It is wild how these guys come in here with no court, just jump the border, subvert law completely, no asylum hearing, no nothing. But to kick him out, oh, now we got to give him a court date. Yeah, no, that's why we have expedited removal, guys. Yeah, so the guys who came in here and who's only been in here for 2 years or less, we can go ahead and just, no court hearing, no day in court, no lawyer, just send them straight back to their country. Shout out expedited removal. It's like damn near one of my favorite parts of due process.
Now, judges are starting to see what a terrible situation it is. Many of those people that you saw on television last night are criminals that were allowed into our country by Biden, and they want to stay, and we don't want them. And they come from jails, and they come from mental institutions, and they come from all over the world, not just South America. And we're not going to let them stay. And this is the first, perhaps, of many, or perhaps, if we didn't attack this one very strongly, you'd have them all over the country. But I can inform the rest of the country that when they do it, if they do it, they're going to be met with equal or greater force than we met right here. We did a great job. The people, you, Christy, and Tom Holman, and all of the people, Pete Hegseth, all of the people involved did an amazing job. We stopped a disaster. And it looks like a planned disaster, this didn't just happen. They had weapons, they had tools, they had everything you needed. I mean, they were throwing iced water in bottles, in glass bottles at officers and at soldiers. You could not use the word insurrection, but you could also use the word, these are very dangerous people.
They was doing that in BLM, the BLM riots. So I was hearing that, people walk around with coolers full of the rock hard ice bottles, and they just start throwing them through cars and all that good stuff. I was like, yo, I mean, vandalism to the max, but I mean, that is resourceful.
People, they're bad people. They were met with heavy force and they folded. And they may be there a little bit tonight, they may be there a little bit, but it seems to be getting less and less because they're going there and they're met with a very heavy force. And if they weren't, you would have that city right now would be on fire. It would be burning down. The rest of it, what's left over, because the other fire was started because they wouldn't allow water into LA. They wouldn't allow water into California because they had it all shifted out to the Pacific Ocean. And I turned it around. And I told them to do it in my first term, and they didn't do it. We had COVID, and they didn't do it. And I told them to do it. We did it in the second. Now we have billions of gallons of water flowing down. But Newsom should have done this. He's an incompetent man and incompetent governor. Okay, any other questions?
Mr. President, do you have any message to adversaries as the Army kicks off 250-year birthday celebration?
I just think it's amazing. We're going to have a fantastic June 14th parade.
Not a word to the adversaries about the military parade. I'm like, no, nothing really. I mean, if they want to watch, they can go watch how we'll eliminate them if they try us. But no, it's not for them. It's really more for us. But all right, guys, let's get over to Gavin Newsom's, harsh words towards Trump. Yep, this man actually has something to say. He said, weakness masquerading as strength. Yeah, let's hear Gavin Newsom out.
I want to go in and listen to Governor Gavin Newsom.
What's happening right now is very different than anything we've seen before. On Saturday morning, when federal agents jumped out of an unmarked van near a Home Depot parking lot, they began grabbing people, a deliberate targeting of a heavily Latino suburb. A similar scene played out when a clothing company was raided downtown. In other actions,
a clothing company was raided downtown. I mean, guys, can you not imagine a bunch of illegals, a bunch of illegal Hispanics working in a clothing company, underpaid, sweating under that sewing machine in a sweatshop in the basement somewhere? Like, can you not imagine that? I don't know why, but a clothing company kind of made me laugh a little bit.
A U.S. citizen, 9 months pregnant, was arrested. A 4-year-old girl taken. Families separated. Friends quite literally disappearing. In response, everyday Angelenos came out to exercise their constitutional right to free speech and assembly.
Yeah, that's great. But the problem is, though, they cannot stop the officers or the ICE or law enforcement from upholding the law. Yes, you cannot stop the law enforcement from upholding immigration policies. I'm sorry, they can sit there, cry on the side, have all the chance they want, but as soon as they get involved, as soon as they sit there and say, oh, you're not doing your job unless you take us out. You're not doing the job unless you move us. That's when it becomes a problem, and they don't have the right to do that, Gavin Newsom. Like I said, they can sit on the side, sit there and call the ICE, the fascists and all that on the side and kick and scream all they want. But as soon as they start trying to put hands on these guys, try to stop them from doing their job, that's when they kind of go outside their rights.
To protest their government's actions. In turn, the state of California and the city and county of Los Angeles sent our police officers to help keep the peace. And with some exceptions, they were successful. Like many states, California is no stranger to this sort of unrest.
This man's own the LAPD chief pretty much says, yeah, this situation is out of control. We can't handle it. This is bad. I literally played the video last night. That is crazy how he's still standing like this is not his fault.
We manage it regularly and with our own law enforcement. But this, again, was different. What then ensued was the use of tear gas, flashbang grenades, rubber bullets. Federal agents detaining people and undermining their due process rights. Donald Trump, without consulting California law enforcement.
I'd ask Gavin. I'm like, Gavin Newsom, like, bro, somebody just committed a crime right in front of an officer. He gets detained. I mean, that is part of their due process. Like, I'm not sure if you understand due process at this point, or maybe it's just a buzzword that you Dems are using, like, honestly, misusing. But yeah, that's actually part of due process, my friend.
Enforcement leaders commandeered 2,000 of our state's National Guard members to deploy on our streets illegally and for no reason. This brazen abuse of power by a sitting president inflamed a combustible situation, putting our people, our officers, and even our National Guard at risk. That's when the downward spiral began. He doubled down on his dangerous National Guard deployment by fanning the flames even harder.
How?
And the president, he did it on purpose. As the news...
Oh, hold on. So you're telling me that the citizens there who's literally yelling, saying that, no, we don't want ICE to uphold the law, screw American law, screw American policies, this is our land now, it's stolen anyway, so now this is ours, and you're going to have to do something to get us up out of there. That's literally what the protesters are saying. This has nothing to do with Trump. And this has everything to do with them pretty much grandstanding and them pretty much trying to say F the law. And you can't do that. Trust me, especially when you have about 800,000 illegals in that area, LA, and possibly more. That's just the ones we got documented or that we counted so far. Like, who knows what we don't have counted. So all on Celia, LA could have anywhere from 800,000 to 1.1 million illegals in there. And no wonder they're fighting so hard to hold it down there. No wonder.
Spread throughout LA, anxiety for family and friends ramped up. Protests started again. By night, several dozen lawbreakers became violent and destructive. They vandalized property. They tried to assault police officers. Many of you have seen the video clips of cars burning on cable news. If you incite violence,
Dude, actually, I could show you some pretty interesting clips right now of, I believe it's a young man or a young lady. I can't really tell by the hair. Like, the kid got some hair on him, but this bro, I don't know, it gotta be a dude, because the cojones on this guy here literally drove a motorcycle. Or is that a woman? Yeah, I don't know who it is, but somebody literally drove a motorcycle through the police. Let's go ahead and watch it. No, what the? Hey, yo. They don't care. So, and here's the crazy thing is, because
Your ass going to jail. You jail. Lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. You going to jail. You're going to jail.
but I'm not gonna lie, the balls to sit there and drive a motorcycle through the front line of police. Really, they should have whooped his ass and should have hit him with that nightstick a couple times. I'm not even gonna lie. I'd have sat there and been like, "You guys got the right to do it." The man tried to hit you with a bike. Go ahead, pull the nightsticks out. Yep, and that's the person who pretty much rode the motorcycle through, and well, I guess their companion right there. So yeah, it's actually going down over there. And they say, oh, it's a peaceful protest, but you got people driving motorcycles through police line. But that's a peaceful protest, guys, according to the Dems. I mean, I don't even want to know what y'all see as a violent protest at that point. I'm almost scared to figure out what that is.
Be clear about this. If you incite violence or destroy our communities, you're going to be held to account.
Oh, my bad. Shout out to Castro. He says shit was happening way before Trump called in. Exactly. Trump called in as a result of this. This had nothing to do with Trump.
That kind of criminal behavior will not be tolerated. Full stop. Already more than 220 people have been arrested, and we're reviewing tapes to build additional cases, and people will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Again, thanks to our law enforcement officers and the majority of Angelenos who protested peacefully, the situation was winding down and was concentrated in just a few square blocks downtown. But that's not what Donald Trump wanted. He again chose escalation. He chose more force. He chose theatrics over public safety. He federalized another 2,000 Guard members. He deployed more than 700 active U.S. Marines. These are the men and women trained for foreign combat, not domestic law enforcement. We honor their service. We honor their bravery.
But these are foreigners. What? These are foreigners who are literally saying that, yo, F your laws, F your immigration law, we're staying here and you got to make us. Yeah, yep, that's why we're getting the military involved, because they're foreigners, Gavin Newsom. They're not citizens. Maybe that's why, because there's foreigners that's pretty much saying, yeah, this is an invasion of Los Angeles, and you're going to have to fight us to take us out of here. That's what the foreigners are saying, not just the protesters who just happen to be citizens.
We do not want our streets militarized by our own armed forces, not in LA, not in California, not anywhere. We're seeing unmarked cars in school parking lots, kids afraid of attending their own graduation. Trump is pulling a military dragnet all across Los Angeles, well beyond his stated intent to just go after violent and serious criminals. His agents are arresting.
That's what he was doing, and y'all stopped him. And then this whole thing popped off. That's literally what the man was doing. That's literally what ICE came out there to do. And you guys stopped him. And then you caused the whole protest, started and turned into a riot. This is all on the radicalness of LA citizens, the LA population. They truly believe that these illegals deserve to be here. This is what they truly believe in. Gavin Newsom let him believe it, since he didn't do nothing about it. Since he didn't uphold the law, now they're over here confused, going like, well, what you mean immigration laws? They haven't been upheld here. Well, now they are, but guess what? They're not used to it.
Dishwashers, gardeners, day laborers, and seamstresses. That's just weakness masquerading as strength. Donald Trump's government isn't protecting our communities. They're traumatizing our communities. And that seems to be the entire point. California will keep fighting. We'll keep fighting on behalf of our people, all of our people, including in the courts. Just yesterday, we filed a legal challenge to Donald Trump's reckless deployment of American troops to a major American city. Today, we sought an emergency court order to stop the use of the American military to engage.
I just want to know, so you're telling me because Donald Trump pretty much tried to bring order back to LA that started off, that this order started off before Trump even got the National Guard involved, before, and it's his fault. So I just want to show y'all a video. So you're telling me, Gavin Newsom, this right here is Trump's fault, right here. Like, what does ICE have to do with burning cars and literally, I don't know, like throwing rocks at police? Like, what does this have to do with a protest against what? And here's the thing, they have nothing to protest. This is literally immigration law. They have nothing to protest. ICE is literally going in there doing their job, and the citizens stopped them unlawfully. This is what we have to do to uphold the law, and so be it. And this is why it's going to be seen as an insurrection, because you're stopping immigration policies that, well, majority of Americans voted for. We voted for this. Majority of Americans are okay with this. All over the news, they're doing polls on it, and it's like 50% over that Americans are okay with what's going on in LA. Why? Because this is ridiculous. Even the fact that the mayor says we are a city of immigrants in the USA is crazy. Good Lord. But it's Trump's fault, though. Man, I mean, I'm be real with you. If you're a sensible person, you can see how this honestly isn't Trump's fault. And if you're a Dem and you're a sensible Dem, you're probably embarrassed right now looking at this going like, they really can't admit when they're wrong. Like, you guys are literally acting like you guys didn't enable this behavior. This is why these guys are acting like this.
Engage in law enforcement activities across Los Angeles. If some of us could be snatched off the streets without a warrant.
These people are literally acting like a spoiled kid you're finally showing some boundaries to. It's like, well, you're spoiled kid, you finally told no to. When you told that kid no, they're kicking, screaming, and throwing down shelves in the store.
Based on,
or looting the store.
Only on suspicion or skin color, then none of us are safe. Authoritarian regimes begin by targeting people who are least able to defend themselves, but they do not stop there. Trump and his loyalists, they thrive on division because it allows them to take more power and exert even more control. And by the way, Trump, he's not opposed to lawlessness and violence as long as it serves him. What more evidence do we need than January 6th? Ask everyone. Take time, reflect on this perilous moment. A president who wants to be bound by no law or constitution, perpetuating a unified assault on American traditions. This is a president.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. The two different messages of, well, the LA riots and January 6th is the messages are different. One message says that we want the election investigated. We feel like we were wrong as American people. That's one argument on the other side. This argument is that we feel like California is stolen land and there is no such thing as illegals on stolen land. So you're going to have to take us off this land if you want to uphold your immigration laws. I mean, which one sounds a little bit more insurrection-y to you? One act for just an act for an investigation and got what they got. And these people are literally asking for the whole subversion of the law. Like, let's just be real.
Who in just over 140 days has fired government watchdogs that could hold him accountable for corruption and fraud. He's declared a war on culture, on history, on science, on knowledge itself. Databases, quite literally, are vanishing. He's delegitimizing news organizations, and he's assaulting the First Amendment. And the threat of defunding them, at threat, he's dictating what universities themselves can teach. He's targeting law firms and the judicial branch that are the foundations of an orderly and civil society.
This guy.
He's calling for a sitting governor to be arrested for no other reason than to, in his own words, for getting elected. And we all know this Saturday, he's ordering our American heroes, the United States military, and forcing them to put on a vulgar display to celebrate his birthday, just as other failed dictators have done in the past. Look, this isn't just about protests here in Los Angeles. When Donald Trump sought blanket authority to commandeer the National Guard, he made that order apply to every state in this nation.
What?
This is about all of us.
No, it's
This
not. No.
is about you.
It's just about you, bro. To leave us the rest out of it. Most of these states, we love the immigration policy. We like to follow the immigration laws, and we want these immigrants up out of here. It's just you guys, okay? Just you and the Dems. Trust me, there's other cities like Los Angeles. Trust me. I'm pretty sure you guys can name some in the chat. But it's just you guys. This is not an attack on all American cities everywhere, my friend. This is just you. If ICE did this in a red state or in a red city, we'd have damn near kicked in the door with them. We'd have been like, "Oh yeah, they're right over there. Yep. I see what you're doing. Yeah, they're right there. Make sure you hit the guys across the street too, because they're on the same BS." That's what it'd been like in a red state. So in a blue state, where you guys want to try to hurt these people and stop them from upholding the law, only you guys are doing that. Leave us out of it. The rest of America, we're in line with this.
California may be first, but it clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Democracy is next. Democracy is under assault before our eyes. This moment we have feared has arrived. He's taking a wrecking ball to our founding fathers' historic project. 3 co-equal branches of independent government. There are no longer any checks and balances. Congress is nowhere to be found. Speaker Johnson has completely abdicated that responsibility. The rule of law has increasingly been given way to the rule of Don. The founding fathers, they didn't live and die to see this kind of moment.
Gavin Newsom, you subverted the rule of law by allowing all these illegals in there, and now you're protecting them. You're pretty much not even really protecting them. I would say you're speaking against Trump to lock them up. And here's the thing. He's not pretty much saying that, "Oh, I don't want Trump to lock up these illegals because that's going to get his ass locked up." But what he's pretty much saying, he's pretty much trying to go on everything else but the main problem. The main problem is there's a whole bunch of illegals in there. And now you're trying to make it about, oh, he's misusing military force, the First Amendment. We have the right to protest and assemble. And I mean, yeah, bro, this has nothing to do with none of that. This has everything to do with the fact that you allow damn near 1 million illegal immigrants in your city, in that city of LA. Damn near, and there's probably a whole lot more in your state. Like somebody was saying, there's in this Southern California alone, there's 10 million undocumented, aka illegal aliens out there. So trust me, we got a lot to do in California. If you're mad about this, then you're gonna be pissed with pretty much the entire year of what else we're gonna do. You're really gonna be pissed.
It's time for all of us to stand up. Justice Brandeis, you said it best. In a democracy, the most important office, with all due respect, Mr. President, is not the presidency, and it's certainly not governor. The most important office is office of citizen. At this moment, we all need to...
Yes, and the people and the citizens voted for the president. I mean, your citizens voted for you, but even your citizens and the citizens of the United States voted for Trump. So that's why we're kind of aligned more with him on this situation than you.
Stand up and be held to account, a higher level of accountability. If you exercise your First Amendment rights, please do it peacefully. I know many of you are feeling deep anxiety, stress, and fear, but I want you to know that you are the antidote to that fear and that anxiety. What Donald Trump wants most is your fealty, your silence to be complicit in this moment.
Damn, that Tesla? Oh yeah, get up out of there, G. Get up out of there. That was a whole Tesla, man. I was like, boy, if you don't get up out of there, they will kill you.
That was a blistering speech there from the California governor, Gavin Newsom, responding after days of back and forth between his state and...
Yes, it was very scintillating, I guess. So, but really my response, to be quite honest, my real response is...
nigga?
Like...
Man, shut your bitch ass up, nigga. Nobody asked you how to bitch ass thing. You better shut the fuck up before I knock your fucking head off your...
since I can't go out and just be brash with it, I'm gonna go ahead and let the soundbite be brash.
Los Angeles specifically, and the White House and President Trump, including comments that the president has made saying that if he was his border czar, he would have Governor Newsom arrested, something that the governor there invoked as he was essentially referencing not only what we've been seeing play out in Los Angeles, which he was plenty critical of, including Trump bypassing the governor there to deploy the National Guard. Also,
which he has the right to do. It's kind of crazy how they're kind of leaving that out. Like, look, you Dems are going to look very stupid if you try to sit here and argue and say, oh, Trump doesn't have the right to send out the National Guard, only the governor. Look at Article 10 of executive power and then, eat your words right after.
Sending hundreds of Marines to Los Angeles. He also invoked the fact that he had implied having him arrested, the president's upcoming military parade that he's having here in Washington, his fight with Harvard, and he warned other states in that speech that, quote, other states are next. He said that Donald Trump is not opposed to lawlessness, and he invoked what happened on January 6th. He also addressed what we've been seeing play out over the last several nights in Los Angeles and condemned the violence and the vandalism. He pointed to the hundreds of arrests that have played out so far already in that city and said that they are working through video and compiling additional cases, as he thanked the Los Angeles Police Department for the work that it's done so far and said it was needless to have the National Guard also deployed there. Those were notable comments coming from the governor after a vicious back and forth between President Trump and Governor Newsom, as he has repeatedly criticized the job that Newsom has done and said if it was not for him sending in the National Guard, that Los Angeles would be burning to the ground. I want to bring in CNN's Priscilla Alvarez back here with me. Also,
I honestly agree, because Newsom wasn't going to do anything about it. And he pretty much waited to Trump to react for him to pretty much say, oh, it's Trump's fault. It's like, yo, you literally waited for this man, Trump, literally to do something about it while you stayed silent. And as soon as this man did something, it's his fault. Man, typical Dem playbook. But all right, now, man, let's go into the right-wing media as they just, verbally eviscerate Newsom. Let's get into Sean Hannity first.
Another night of chaos. Police breaking for another night of chaos. But first, we need to step back. We need to remember what these riots are all about. Now, first, we had Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and, of course, Alejandro Mayorkas and every Democrat telling us the border is closed, the border is secure. They lied to us for 4 years. Anywhere between 12 and 20 million unvetted illegals, including known terrorists. We have Iranian assassination squads in the country. We have cartel members. We have gang members. We have murderers. We have rapists. We have other violent criminals. Started there. Then, of course, ICE, in this case, is doing the job of getting rid of these people that Joe and Kamala and others allowed in the country. And, of course, the safe haven created by cities and states like California, cities like Los Angeles. And ICE conducted an operation in Los Angeles, arresting, quote, the worst of the worst illegal alien criminals there. In other words, far-left idiots are now taking to the streets, waving foreign flags, looting stores, burning cars, in support of, let's see, murderers, rapists, gang members. Remember, this is the party of...
That's what I'm saying. Like, first off, LAPD, not LA, but ICE already went in for a sting, and they found like 26 illegals that were all did heinous crimes, all of them. So they did another sting, and this thing they got caught up in, and this is what kind of started this whole riot. Like I said, it had nothing to do with Trump. It has everything to do with stopping ICE from doing their job.
Abrego Garcia. So tonight, why don't we introduce you? This was on FoxNews.com to some of the other criminal illegal aliens that the left is so desperate to keep in your country, that Gavin is fighting for, Karen Bass is fighting for. First up, Jose Ortiz from Ecuador, previously sentenced to 11 years in prison after getting caught with 11 kilos of cocaine. That's close to $500,000 worth of cocaine. Next up is Armando Ordaz, who is a suspected gang member from Mexico. Now, Armando is a convicted sex offender and a thief. Then, of course, there's Victor Mendoza Aguilar from Mexico, who previously was deported in 2017. This suspected gang member served time for drug charges and deadly assault with a deadly weapon, among other crimes. And here is Delfino Aguilar Martinez from Mexico. He was convicted of assault with a deadly weapon with great bodily injury. Next up is Eswin Ariel Castro, who was also previously deported. Castro has convictions.
No relation to our man Daniel Castro.
For child molestation, has also been arrested for robbery, domestic violence. And Look at your screen. This is Lionel Sanchez Laguna. His crimes include battery to a spouse, cruelty to a child, shooting into a house, assault with a firearm, and a DUI on top of that. We could go on and on. I have pages and pages and pages.
And these are all the citizens that, I'm not citizens, I'm sorry, but these are all the illegal aliens. Man, illegal criminals. God damn, illegal aliens who are just also criminals, and the most devious of them. Yeah, these guys were caught in LA. Yeah, so all the guys he just read out right now before you all came from LA. And you're wondering why ICE is so heavy in there.
Of people that they are arresting,
going so hard,
including a convicted murderer from Vietnam and a guy from the Philippines convicted of an unspeakable sexual assault. But just so we are clear, this is who the anti-ICE protesters are fighting for. These are the people that Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass are protecting. These are the people that would still be on the streets of Los Angeles if their mayor, if their governor had their way. They were all protected, every one of them, under L.A. and California's insane sanctuary city and state policies. Governor Gavin Newsom, who we expect will be speaking in this hour, he has been protecting these criminals for years, never once lifted a finger to protect the law-abiding citizens in his state. With sanctuary state laws that now Newsom now supports, get this, police in California, they are not allowed to even ask criminals for their immigration status.
True.
State law enforcement officials.
Yeah, they're not even allowed to ask that. Are you a citizen of the United States? They're not allowed to ask that during traffic stops, during their encounters. They're damn near, and this is why these citizens are kind of like jaded, because, bro, they literally have been spending maybe like this whole time under Newsom, maybe even longer, actually watching illegals being treated like citizens, actually watching the law of, immigration policies just be non-existent there in LA. They literally sat there and watched for maybe 8 to 10 years. And of course they're surprised. They're like, oh, wait, hold on. Now we're upholding these laws? Whoa, what's going on here? Yeah, that's what happened when you kind of spoil people by not making them follow the law.
Are barred from working with ICE even to apprehend violent convicted offenders. They can't even hand them over to ICE. My question for Governor Newsom, and I have a lot of them, and we'll put them up maybe in the course of the show tonight, was it worth it? Are you proud of putting innocent Americans in danger by creating a sanctuary for criminal illegal aliens? I'll put up, I'm going to scroll here, the names of victims in California of violent crime. And while we get that up and running, think about this. You know, we scrolled during the 2024 campaign, all the names of people that were murdered and all the people that were raped and all the people that were victims of violent crime because of the open borders that they were lying about, because they said the border's closed, the border's secure. None of that was true. We have the same thing out in the state of California. And my question, we know that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris never picked up a phone. They never called the victims. They never called Laken Riley's family, Rachel Morin's family, Jocelyn.
Man, and now let's go ahead and move on to what Laura Ingraham got to say, because her words was way harsher than what Hannity had to say. I mean, she just outright said it, guys. I mean, I think you guys can see from the screen where this is going.
The real insurrectionists. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Well, after another night of unrest and all-out mayhem in downtown LA, Governor Gavin Newsom is finally taking action. He's finally putting his foot down. He's had enough. But you'd think he was, warning the rioters to stand down. Don't go into the freeway. Don't block it up. You'd be wrong, because Newsom's warning the president to stand down. Yeah, the destruction of his city notwithstanding, the governor filed for an emergency injunction in federal court to block the Pentagon from ordering federal and state troops to suppress the uprising in LA. Of course, he doesn't think it's an uprising. California's court petition was filed oddly in San Francisco and claimed that Trump is the real problem. Federal antagonization through the presence of soldiers in the streets has already caused real and irreparable damage to the city.
Dems, did this dude turn into an insurrection? I mean, yeah, you want to call it even?
City of Los Angeles, the people who live there, and the state of California.
Oh, Lord.
Irreparable damage caused by the presence of the Marines and the National Guard? Oh. Did their presence compel last night's looting of local businesses or the blockade of the 101 today? Do they really think Americans are that stupid that they're going to believe that the National Guard is causing such pain that they forced thugs and mob.
Like, I see more, protesters causing pain, protesters looting. I don't see the National Guard stealing. I don't see the National Guard out here throwing rocks at cars and all that good stuff. So who's causing all the problems again?
Like figures on the streets to throw pieces of concrete and start fires, trying to brush off the blame that they obviously deserve for their sanctuary policies. Newsom and LA Mayor Karen Bass claim to have a simple solution. Just stop enforcing immigration law.
Bro.
The real solution of all of this is for the administration to stop the raids. We have heard that these raids might take place for the next 30 days. We don't know how many are going to.
Hell yeah, because you guys done let it get too far. You guys are a real big problem. Like, when it comes to solving the immigration problem in these cities, yeah, LA is at the top of the list. And I'm pretty sure there's other California cities that's right along there. So trust me, San Francisco and Oakland. Yeah, you guys might be next. And please don't do what LA is doing, please.
Take place in a given day. And you just think about the disruption to families and the disruption to our local economy.
Oh, yeah, right. It's wonderful for the local economy to have thousands of people swarm a federal ICE operation, wildly smash car windows, whip rocks at passing vehicles, spray paint profanity everywhere, and, yeah, wreck mom and pop stores.
Hey, get the out!
And by the way,
yeah,
they lost in federal court today.
And ain't that crazy? Is like, oh, Trump's the problem. Trump's the problem. But who are all these looters and these looters or protesters going around y'all city pretty much harassing the small businesses that you guys say y'all love so much that Trump's abusing? But I mean, look who's letting them get abused. Is it Trump or is it Newsom?
Today, federal Judge Breyer said, no, we're not intervening, not giving an emergency injunction, an emergency stay to make it.
Oh, guys, let's make sure we double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation. Appreciate the support, by the way. But yes, let's make sure to double tap that screen.
Gavin Newsom feel better. So they lost in court. But the sad fact is Newsom, Bass, and most Democrats, they're never really going to condemn these rioters. Not really. Because the rioters are their constituents. The anarchists are their constituents.
Dang, she calling it
the
out.
Socialists are their constituents. The open borders Marxists are their constituents. And yes, the criminal illegals, they're their constituents. They hope they'll vote someday soon. And the same dynamic was in place in 2020. Black Lives Matter was just a Democrat front group. And we found out after, 90 million in donations poured in, it was as corrupt as the day is long. Speaking at Fort Bragg today, Trump was unfazed by the Newsom resistance and vowed to never let the thugs destroy federal property.
Generations of Army heroes did not shed their blood on distant shores only to watch our country be destroyed by invasion and third world lawlessness here
crazy.
at home, like is happening in California. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not let that happen. It's never going to happen.
Listen to that response. Yeah, that's America.
They're the heroes. They're fighting for us. They're stopping an invasion just like you'd stop an invasion. The big difference is most of the time when you stop an invasion, they're wearing a uniform. In many ways, it's tougher when they're not wearing a uniform because you don't know exactly who they are.
And now Democrats are pretending to be outraged about the prospect of Trump invoking the Insurrection Act, which, of course, is his right. I'd say it's his obligation to do if, and it's his call, if he feels the United States is being threatened from within by violent seditionary forces.
We had some bad people. We have people, they look in your face and they spit right in your face. They're animals. And these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid troublemakers. They're agitators.
Of course, Democrats dined out on the word insurrection for 4 years, referring to another riot on January 6th. They demanded National Guard troops to protect them. And when they're challenged on their hypocrisy, man, they go nuts.
You don't have the National Guard that didn't come in on time on January 6th, or you do have the National Guard where there was violence. We did see it on our TV screens. What do you want?
So, wait a second. So on January 6th, I was here. There was 50,000 people outside. They were scaling the wall. The police were run over. How many police officers have died in LA? 0. How many people died on January 6th? 5. When people say that Democrats are being not consistent, is completely wrong.
I mean, yeah, if you had brought in the National Guard on January 6th, this wouldn't have happened. And I mean, yeah, let's not remember Ashley Babbitt. Let's not remember that as well. You know, it's crazy. They try to actually blame Ashley Babbitt's death on January 6ers, which was couldn't be more wrong.
First of all, he lied. The only person killed on January 6th was an unarmed woman named Ashley Babbitt.
Yeah, actually, there were honestly, there were not just her, but there was actually maybe like 2 or 3 more people. There was a lady who died of suffocation. I think there was another man. I mean, I don't know what happened to him. They said it was just too much for his heart. He died. There was like 5 people who died on January 6th that weren't the Capitol Police. But they don't tell you about the citizens that died on January 6th. They kind of just gloss over it.
Person killed on January 6th was an unarmed woman.
The protesters, yes. 5 protesters, I mean, outside of Ashley Babbitt, I believe, that died on January 6th in the crowd.
Named Ashley Babbitt. She was shot dead by a Capitol Hill police officer, Michael Byrd. Now, as we mentioned, there was one scene in particular that grabbed our attention last night and sure made the so-called protests look professionally supported. These kind of high-grade, riot gear type face shields were distributed by a mystery person. Fox 11 witnessed these individuals handing out tactical gear to the protesters. No arrests, though, were made, despite ongoing acts of vandalism and street interference.
Crazy. All right, now let's see what Waters got to say about this.
Liberals realized waving Mexican flags was a bad look, so they started passing out American flags, saying, wave these flags instead. It's better optics. And the crowd said thanks and took the American flags and burned them. One of the guys organizing these riots said this is war.
This weekend was marked with absolute and total violence, brutal repression, and attacks, coordinated attacks against our community. For us as indigenous people to these lands, to this continent, this is nothing new. The military going after us is nothing new. We don't advocate for violence, but when they use brutal violence against our people and kidnapping mothers and fathers from children is violent. When they do things like that,
and here's the thing, though, I always do say, like, Dems, you can't really give us that, the bleeding heart argument of separating families because, well, you guys put us in this position. Why'd you guys let families come over here illegally, set up shop here? And here's the worst part. They had their kid here. So now their kid's an American citizen, but they're not. You guys allowed it to happen. So you guys allowed the situation to happen. So the people who really separated families was you guys. We're just the ones who got it. Like, yeah, Trump's just the administration who has to enforce it. But you guys set them up for it. And yes, they literally did. There was no way in the world where they were just going to be, oh, well, since your parent had you here, yeah, we're going to make your parent a citizen too. No, that's not how it worked, guys. Sorry. There's no more anchor babies. I mean, and here's the thing. It's not like the mother or the parents can't take the kid with them. And if you consider that deporting a child, well, I don't know what to tell you, because usually when a child gets deported, it's just because the parent takes them with them. Well, actually, that is the only reason.
We have every right, every historic right to defend our communities by any ways that we can, and we're going to continue to do so.
CNN says we should just raise the white flag and let Mexico have California back.
Remember that.
Oh, shout out to my man Vlad Steen. He says Karen Bass and Newsom are lizard people, Soros cult. Man. I mean, at this point, man, and here's the thing. I think it's these Soros ran organization that's coming through supplying these guys with masks and riot shields. Who knows what they're going to get next?
California was part of Mexico. All of the Southwest is Mexico. So the roots are really deep in that region.
No. The roots are really deep in that region is because we just recklessly let them over there. And well, honestly, under Biden or the auto pen, yeah, they just like recklessly let them over there, and it got to this situation that we're not going to hear the argument of, well, oh, it's stolen territory, and these people feel like it's their land. Yeah, well, that's what? That's grounds for an insurrection because you're trying to take American territory. I mean, What's more threatening than trying to take American territory, saying that you cannot enforce American law here in LA? I mean, what do you expect to happen, Dems?
California back.
Remember that California was part of Mexico. All of the Southwest is Mexico. So the roots are really deep in that region. And what they're saying is, no, not in our community.
We won the Mexican-American War. Mexico signed a treaty. LA is not an Indian reservation. I'm sorry, it's a part of the United States.
Yeah.
Notice how the rest of the media isn't even interviewing the rioters. It's almost like they don't ask questions because they know they're not going to like the answers. Here's why.
We don't agree with the term illegal. We're undocumented. We've been here for thousands of years before you guys showed up. Screw up everything. We're anti.
Screwed up everything. What you mean? We made it into the strongest state, like literally in the world. I mean, the state was outperforming countries when we had it. Now you guys have it, and the thing is going down the shitter. Well, don't, bro. Wow. So what you do? You wait for us to fix up California just so y'all can move back in and F it up again? Like, and here's the thing. If you guys, like I said, bro, this is what kills me about this protest. If you guys want to wave y'all flag, then go back to your country. Why? But here's the thing, though. Like I said, you got to understand the belief of these people. They truly feel like California or LA is part of their country. You heard them. You've heard it from that fat one, the fat Hispanic lady, to the fat Hispanic man. They truly believe that LA is part of Mexico. And if we got to put them under an insurrection to kill that thinking, then so be it. Because we got to show them through military force or why they lost it in the first place.
Capitalist. We think socialism does work. Real socialism.
Is there a country we can look to kind of model the?
See, they don't even believe in the bro. They don't even believe in the economic structure of this country. They don't even believe in the American way. They want socialism. Yeah, this is a completely different country at a certain point. Y'all gotta go. If y'all want to do that, go do that in Mexico. Oh yeah, y'all too afraid of the cartel, so you ran over here. Not our problem. Sorry, but we're not going to feel bad for you because you wanted to run away from y'all problems, but then you want to go try to create something here. I mean, you could assimilate here. We don't mind that. You could assimilate, go through immigration laws properly. That's great. But you want to come over here and damn near say, this is yours now? Yeah, you came to the wrong country. You probably should have, I don't know, like walked through USA and tried that shit in Canada. You might have got that off in Canada.
Socialism idea.
The only motto would be Soviet Union the first 4 years.
That right there says it all. So guess what side the Democrats are on?
Let me be clear. Congressional Democrats stand in full solidarity with the residents of Los Angeles, with our immigrant sisters and brothers, and with the peaceful protesters who did.
I'm weak. Shout out Daniel Castro. Sell it back to Mexico, LOL. Exchange for new land. I mean, honestly, Mexico got nothing that we want. That's the problem. I mean, and here's the thing. I mean, Mexico couldn't take it back if they wanted to, but it is crazy how their illegal immigrants, the ones who fled Mexico, are trying to pretty much set up their own little Mexico in California. They're literally trying to take California, guys. And they think they're going to do it. I mean, like I said, you're doing this with the wrong country. You should have tried that in a country where they have their military subsidized. Not a country that actually has a real military that will get all of you up out of here forcefully. This is what I'm saying, that, yo, you might be dealing with the National Guard and the Marines for like a couple months if this is the idea. Because at a certain point, this is a full-on insurrection and a rebellion. Pretty much they're trying to take American land. Is that not understood? So, and I see people in the chat going like, well, America invaded Mexico, and you're right, and they fought us about it and they lost. So okay, you're pretty much saying that these Mexican illegals are invading America. Well, then I hope you don't mind that we fight them about it, and don't cry, because you're admitting that, yeah, they're trying to invade America, they're trying to take American land, and you're okay with that. Cool, stay on that side, but don't get mad about what we do on this side.
Dare to speak out and who will support every effort to oppose this president's abuse of power.
Democrats are telling cops to stand down and rioters to stand up. LA Mayor Karen Bass says the riots will stop once the ICE raids stop.
I would say stop the raids. Stop the raids, period.
No.
I would say give the power back to our governor.
No, because, and honestly, no, the raids are mandated by the people. The fact that you guys had criminals in there, you weren't willing to go get them yourself, honestly is a complete neglection of your own people. So it's crazy how y'all guys have that stance. And like I said, what's wrong with removing these illegals out there when you guys should have did it yourself? And what do you mean give power back to the people? By your calculations or by what you're telling us, you're a city of immigrants. Damn near, we got to damn near deport half the city, it sounds.
And if we need the National Guard, we can do it in the normal circumstances, which is the request is made local and the governor decides or not to grant that to our city.
We're getting extorted by the LA mayor. It's like a hostage crisis, but she's threatening
Get
to
'em.
burn her own city down.
Get them.
Trump,
Illegals.
not a guy who likes being extorted.
Get them.
Mr. President, these protests obviously started in reaction to these large-scale ICE operations in Los Angeles. Should people expect to see similar operations in the rest of the country?
Yeah.
And will similar protests see
Yeah.
similar response?
As you know, we're moving murderers out of our country that were put here by Biden or the auto pen. The auto pen really did it. We're not going to let them stay. And this is the first, perhaps, of many, or perhaps, if we didn't attack this one very strongly, you'd have them all over the country. But
Facts.
I can inform the rest
And
of
that's
the
what I
country.
said. When it came to this, I mean, the cities that have high illegals in them, high numbers of illegal immigrants in them. Yeah, LA, the state of California, you guys are at the top of the list. You guys are the prime suspects here of allowing illegals into your state and then spread them amongst your cities. Main culprit. You guys cannot be mad. You guys let this happen. You're dealing with the consequences of your neglection of, immigration or just immigration policies in general. So, hey, what can you do? You didn't want to follow the law. Now here you are.
Country that when they do it, if they do it, they're going to be met with equal or greater force than we met right here.
The LA mob is fired up because Democrats called ICE Nazis and the Gestapo. And now they're calling them slave catchers.
This reminds me historically of it's not a clear analogy, but when the nation, when these political factions divided.
I'm sorry, but I like this. ICE done pulled up on the horizon, done seen a whole bunch of Mexicans, and they're just like, oh boy, this is hilarious.
The nation in between slaveholders and slave catchers, with ICE running around LA, forcing people to make choices where they protect their friends, their neighbors, their family members.
That makes Barack Obama the biggest slave catcher in America because he had Tom Holmes.
I'm sorry, every time they say slave catcher, I'm just gonna be like, because boy, really? Slave catcher? You guys are hilarious.
Rounding up a record number of illegals. So after lying to us, extorting us, and then calling us Nazi slave owners, Democrats are covering up the riots like Biden's brain.
It's no different than when a team wins a national championship and people get overexcited and they overturn vehicles and light them on fire. Local law enforcement is prepared to handle those types of situations. Marines and National Guardsmen are not.
Yeah, Dodgers fans went a little nuts when they beat the Yankees, but this is a 5-day riot. Pelosi said cut them some slack. People are just feeling a little exuberant.
When there is a gathering, a large gathering of people, the anarchists see it as an opportunity and they move in. So always have to be careful whether you see a burned car, a broken window, or whatever it is. It may be the exuberance of the moment, but it may be the anarchist setting in.
Maxine Waters, no relation, says, what violence? I don't see any violence.
Even those who were out of step with what we are advocating, peaceful protest, did not create any violence. Nobody was shot, nobody was killed. Get it in your head. Don't think that somehow, because they called out the National Guard, there was violence. There was no violence. I was on the street. I know.
I didn't see violence is the new,
Sure?
I didn't see Biden.
I mean, that doesn't look like violence to you. I mean, almost everything, every picture, every little video we done seen of this riot is not one moment of this riot that looked peaceful, to be quite honest.
Decline.
And then even the guys who are peaceful, the rhetoric that they have in for their stance on this protest does not lead to peaceful results. Like I said, we got two people pretty much saying that, nah, Cali is California or LA is now Mexico. Y'all gonna have to do something about it. So, I mean, let's be real, that is kind of insurrection. Like, you're damn near trying to take land away from America, literally trying to take it by force. I mean, damn, that's pretty much an insurrection and an invasion all in one.
The whole country sees violence on their TVs, on their phones. Stelter says, don't be confused by what you watch. The violence could be from 2 hours ago.
You got to be careful at a delicate moment like this to look at the timestamps, look at the dates, look at when things are actually posted, and if they're really from the situation they're purporting to be. A lot of these algorithms are surfacing hours old or even days old content. So you might be looking at a video of something, wondering what's happening.
You know what makes it worse, bro? There's a lot of live streamers out there right now that is actually capturing what's going on. Like, dog, I was on Kick seeing what was going on. Guys on Kick that are streaming this, literally showing the looting, the fires, and they're out there right now. I mean, you can hop on a stream right now in LA and you'll see what's going on.
In LA, it's actually from 2 days ago. And that's, it only matters because it can give people a false impression of what's actually happening at a moment of unrest.
Hey, I love it because you kind of know. I love it because, well, the Dems kind of give their, I guess their group, the libs, their ammo. They kind of give you y'all argument. So now I already know what I'm going to hear. Oh, that's old video. That's from like a week ago. I'm like, whoa, this happened less than a week ago, right? Like, bro, I already know the arguments of what's going to happen. That's old footage, guys. Like, find something new. So then this is going to be the gaslighting tactic of the left. Crazy.
Where would we be without Brian?
Called it.
To explain the concept of time. The riot started on Friday, and today is Tuesday.
They're pushing a dumpster on wheels?
LA
Hey,
County
yo, they are
police say
wild.
You should believe your own eyes.
Pushing a dumpster at the police, and that's peaceful? Like, they're literally doing this with the intention to cause harm to the police.
Every single police officer and deputy sheriff right now wants this to end. Unfortunately, the governor of California is 100% adding fuel to the flames. His rhetoric is one thing. What he says is one thing. What he does is another. He is absolutely part of the problem that we're seeing here. And so there is a lack of cooperation with the state of California and local officials.
Gavin's giving folks room to riot just like tampon. Same thing happened in the summer of love. Democrat governors let violence fester until finally Trump restored order. Trump's not waiting around this time. He says if it wasn't for him, LA would be up in smoke.
Like I said, no, I was literally saying that too. Like, guys on Kick, guys on X, mainly what I've been seeing the lives on was Kick on X, are literally live streaming from LA right now, showing us what's going on. And it's complete mayhem.
Wasn't for him, LA would be up in smoke.
Called him up to tell him, got to do a better job.
But let's go ahead and get a word in from one of the sensible libs, a reformed lib, Stephen A. Smith.
With the situation in Los Angeles.
He brought up a point that when he brings it up, I really want to stamp it and bring it home, because a lot of people are saying some things that are a bit irritating because they don't think that, well, there's something I like to say. Like, I like to stay consistent in what I believe. So if you don't think that I wouldn't be championing this if there was locking up a whole bunch of Haitians, Africans, black people, Caribbeans, you don't think I'll be for that? Oh, you wrong. I'll be definitely for that. Actually, I'd be championing it even harder than they were than this. Oh, you think I'm happy about the Mexicans? Oh, trust me, I'll be 10 times more happier with the black people. So there you go.
Let's get started with the situation in Los Angeles, California, where President Donald Trump deployed National Guard troops to the city this weekend to address the violent clashes between immigration enforcement authorities and demonstrators. The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE as they are known, began a series of raids last Friday in the country's second largest city. The raid sparked several demonstrations and subsequent clashes between protesters and law enforcement. Many threw rocks at ICE vehicles and set fire to other vehicles in downtown Los Angeles. Those actions prompted President Trump to order the deployment of up to 2,000 National Guard troops to Los Angeles despite objections from Governor Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass. Here's what President Trump wrote on Truth Social yesterday in response to the situation in Los Angeles. Quote, "A once great American city, Los Angeles, has been invaded and occupied by illegal aliens and criminals."
I mean, And that can honestly be valid. That's valid. Now, did we not just sit here and watch these guys pretty much say, this is our land, you can't kick us off this is stolen land, we're damn near taking it back. California was always Mexico in their eyes. So pretty much in their eyes, they was never even living on America. They was living in Mexico in their eyes. And now they're pretty much saying it out loud for all of us to hear. That's called occupation. So they are not only illegals, they're not supposed to be here, but they're willfully saying that, or they're gleefully saying that, hey, yeah, we're taking this land. So before they're occupying it, and since they're illegals of not of this country, they're invading it. So this goes under all the guidelines to get the National Guards and the Marine involved. I mean, damn near the military. Keep it up. I mean, just look at the rhetoric of the protests. They literally do not believe that they are on American soil right now.
Now violent insurrectionist mobs are swarming and attacking our federal agents to try and stop our deportation operations. But these lawless riots only strengthen our resolve. I am directing Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and Attorney General Pam Bondi, in coordination with all other relevant departments and agencies, to take all such action necessary to liberate Los Angeles from the migrant invasion and put an end to these migrant riots. Order will be restored, the illegals will be expelled, and Los Angeles will be set free. Thank you for your attention to this matter, end quote. Meanwhile, Governor Newsom said this morning that the state of California is suing the Trump administration, claiming President Trump illegally federalized the National Guard. Here's what he wrote on social media about the clashes between protesters and law enforcement. This is, quote, exactly what Donald Trump wanted, end quote. He went on to say, quote, he flamed the fires and illegally acted to federalize the National Guard. The order he signed doesn't just apply to California. It will allow him to go into any state and do the same thing. We are suing him, end quote. You know, I get where Gavin Newsom is coming from. It's not a good picture. For those of you who don't know, over 40% of the population in the state of California is of Latin descent. Approximately anywhere from 7 to 8% are considered documented, but a larger number than that is considered undocumented.
What? Bro, what am I hearing? What the? So, a large number of Hispanics, a large number, guys, and only 6 to 8% are U.S. citizens, and the majority of them are illegals. Which the only way that math works out is if pretty much nothing but illegal immigrants came in here and had kids, and the 6 to 7, 8%, those are the kids of the illegal immigrants. That's the only way that math really works out like that. There's no way you're going to sit here and tell me 6, 8% are legal citizens or illegal citizens, but then the other, 92 to 94% is what? Illegals are not supposed to be here? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That goes from years and years of letting this ish go down.
Donald Trump has lost cases before when states and others have filed lawsuits against him.
I'm weak. Shut off last scene. But colonialism. He's like, land is not constant ever. Yeah, I mean, for real. And I swear to God, they want to bring up this whole colonialism. Oh, this is what you guys get and all this good stuff, like we're gonna lose or something. Like, who the hell you think we fight in Russia? Like, who you think, bro? You're acting like the Mexican army is occupying Mexico. No, I wish they would try something like that. They lose their government overnight. We take them and the cartel out overnight. So I don't even know really what this is all about. With you guys bringing up invasion and colonialism. I'm like, hold on. Are you really trying to rationalize why we should just let these immigrants take LA? Because it's not going to stop if we let them take LA. They'll take all of California, then they'll spread over to Utah, Arizona, then they'll take all the border states along there, and then we're just surrounded by Mexicans. And then, I'll be real with you, really don't want to know where we're going to end up then, because you're about to find out why Mexico failed. I mean, according to that short Mexican guy, it was socialism, Well, shoot, a hatred for borders, and oh yes, the cartel, of course. Yeah, their lack of handling the cartel. They don't want to handle the cartel. They'd rather run over here and bring cartel problems with them.
Some of the executive orders that he's issued has not been successful. And we know that his efforts in this particular instance may end up being derailed. But that does not mean that Governor Newsom is not playing directly into his hands. He himself said, this is exactly what Donald Trump wanted. Well, forgive this rhetorical question, then why the hell are you giving it to him? Why the hell are you playing right into the hands of Donald Trump? Because I got news for you. On this particular issue,
be honest, because he feels powerless and there's nothing he can do. He thought that he was going to be able to keep the National Guard back from handling this situation. He thought he was going to be able to make LA a safe haven for illegals, and he found out wrong. He found out really wrong when he found out that, yes, the president does have executive power to send in a National Guard, especially if the ICE agent, which is law enforcement, is unable to uphold American law and is going against the president's, trust me, executive order as well. So, guys, I really want you guys to think about this and understand that this is not about, well, honestly, yeah, this is not about a protest anymore. This ain't even about a riot anymore. This is about a group of people who full on believe in the occupation of LA. Yeah, that's grounds for the military, and that is insurrection. Because not only are you trying to subvert American law, you're just trying to break the law, but you're also trying to take American land at the same damn time.
As it pretends,
there's no excuse.
As it involves migrants, immigrants, those who are undocumented, dare we say illegal, in the United States of America, he's winning on this issue. There's a reason he won a popular vote. There's a reason he won the Electoral College vote. There's a reason he won every swing state. There are people within the United States of America that want.
This is why Donald Trump won every swing state, is LA, literally. We were afraid of this, of LA being, of any of our cities turning into this. And there's other sanctuary cities that are not as bad as LA, but I was getting to that point. And that's what we wanted to stop. I wish you Dems would see this as a point of like, so this is what the Trump, the MAGAs are talking about. This is what they didn't want, because y'all shouldn't want it either.
Our immigration crisis addressed and want the situation resolved somehow, some way. And the person that seems eager to bring a resolution to the table is President Donald Trump. Now, others may challenge that because they may say we had a bipartisan agreement when Joe Biden was in office that Donald Trump convinced the GOP to nix because he wanted to use it as an issue to favor him during the election. Well, damn it, it worked. It worked. And I got news for you, Governor Newsom. It's working now. But before I go any further to
actually, the way Trump handled the border actually proved that was a lie. Because what new border bill did Trump even start to lock down the border? Exactly. None. Bro just said, no, what? We're just going to actually start practicing the policies and enforcing the policies that we already have, guys. Enforcing the laws that we already have, and that's to fix the border. And it did. So, Dems, when you guys try to sit there and say, the reason why the border wasn't fixed because, Trump turned down the bill, which is ridiculous because, trust me, if you'd have read the bill, you'd have seen why the Republicans didn't need no help from Trump voting no on it. Trust me. But yeah, that argument falls apart now because since we're here, it just doesn't add up anymore.
Elaborate on this issue. Let's hear from Donald Trump himself. Let's see how he feels.
And pretty much what I'm saying is like, we needed a border bill under Biden, but we just need to follow the immigration policies under Trump. No new bill, no nothing. So they told you that they needed the bill to fix the border and that Trump killed it. But then Trump completely proved them wrong by coming in office and then saying, nah, no bill. We're just going to uphold the law. Crazy.
About the state of California and what's been going on under Governor Newsom's regime. Check out the president.
I like Gavin Newsom. He's a nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent. Everybody knows. All you have to do is look at the little railroad he's building. It's about 100 times over budget. We're putting a flagpole over there. Under budget. I always do under budget. What does your intel tell you about these people causing all the problems?
Are they people ICE is trying to deport, or are they professional agitators?
The people that are causing the problem are professional agitators. They're insurrectionists. They're bad people. They should be in jail. Thank you.
Can't go that far. Can't speak that way about everybody. If
Yeah,
you're
you
black
can.
and you see blacks being arrested, ultimately incarcerated, scheduled for deportation, how would you react?
I would be cold. I'd be still face. I would not budge. My heart would not be moved, not one bit. Because if you're talking, like I said, if you're saying that Trump start coming into these cities and start locking up a whole bunch of black people for being illegals, pretty much them not being supposed to be here, yeah, I'm gonna be consistent. Like it would be pretty racist if I'm just saying that, oh yeah, I just want the immigration policies to apply to Mexicans. No, I want it to apply to everybody. Every illegal in my country, you gotta go. Every illegal. I don't care what color you are. You can even share my damn complexion. Like people can't even tell the difference. And I want you out of here if you are an illegal immigrant. That's it. It don't got nothing to do with skin color, guys. I don't even know why you're trying to make it about skin color. I always did say you guys trying to make this whole immigration seem racist just because it just so happened to be Mexicans. Now, when the Haitians and the Africans start getting deported, now you're going to start trying to say, Seth, why don't you feel no way about this? Because they're illegals. They weren't supposed to be here in the first goddamn place. You're talking about the same man that was saying that the Haitians need to get the hell up out of Springfield. The same person, me. Like, trust me, I'm pretty consistent in my stance on immigration. If you're an illegal, you got to go. No matter what your skin color is, it doesn't matter to me. I'm sorry. I just don't care. You got to go. If it hurt your feelings, then I'm sorry. But hey, we're sticking with the law here. We're sticking with the rule of law for the good of the American people and my community. Sorry. I'm sorry that a couple immigrants just don't move my heart enough for me to just, disregard the safety of my state and community. I'm sorry, guys. I'm oh so sorry. And shout out to my man Vladstein. Remember when Bill Clinton changed taxpayers charged taxpayers $2K a hammer to use in the White House? Yeah. Hey, remember 10K a toilet? I was like, God, that better be like a 14. I ain't gonna lie, there better be like a 14 karat gold trim on that toilet if I pay 10K for it. Like, really. But yeah, we all do remember when Bill Clinton was out here charging people $2K for a hammer, though.
So we got to look at the Hispanic community, the Latin community, and we have to say, you know what? We can't blame them for coming to the defense of their own. And everybody is not a criminal. Everybody is not there committing heinous acts and what have you. But it's not a good look. There's no question about that. When you're attacking ICE agents, trying to show their identities and pull off their masks, trying to expose them, lighting fire.
Look, I get what he's trying to say, but the problem is, like I said, I don't really care even if you're just a illegal guy who's here who's just working. You got to get about the country. Now, yes, I do agree with going after the worst of the worst first. Let's get them out of here first. But next, we do got to come for you guys as well. No offense, but it just is what it is. Like, you could guys see this. We're just upholding the law, guys.
Fires to cars on the roads in the city of Los Angeles and causing all of this kind of chaos, particularly if you're undocumented. That means that you're here illegally. And if you're here illegally, the nerve for you to be causing that kind of trouble. Okay, that's a different subject for another moment. But let me get to something very, very important, because based off of what Donald Trump said, I'm making the point that Gavin Newsom is losing this argument. How would I say that? Why would I deduce that? How would I come up with such a thing? Well, listen to the folks on CNN and what they highlighted with this chart. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, if we just take a look at the baseline numbers here, this is Trump's net approval rating on immigration. It's gone up like a rocket compared now versus 8 years ago during Trump's first term. Look at this. In his first term, Trump was way, way, way underwater at minus 21 points. But look at this. He's up over 20 points now in the...
Because he hit the problem. He hit one of the biggest sanctuary cities, and probably the biggest sanctuary city in America. When they're literally saying in LA that has a large Hispanic population, but only 6 to 8% are legal and the rest of them are illegals. Yeah, that's a major problem. And you're going to get on everybody's good side when you go ahead and take care of that problem. Here's the thing. I'm like, the left guys on y'all side, Dems, guys on your side would never admit it. But there's a couple of them that's like, thank God. Thank God. And it probably is the Dems in LA like, thank God, bro. This is starting to become a real problem.
aggregate, he is in positive territory at plus 1 point on his net approval rating. Some other polls even have it a little bit higher than that. There is no issue on which Trump is doing so much better than he was in his first term, more than the issue of immigration. No wonder the Times has written up the way that he is. Trump is begging for a fight on this because he knows what he's doing so far is working with the American electorate. The American electorate believe that the Democrats don't have a clue on the issue of immigration. I mean, you could just take it here. Closer to trust more in immigration, Democrats versus Republicans. Got 3 different polls for you across the board. They all tell the same story. Republicans lead on the issue of immigration. You see it here, CBS +6. You see it here, CNN +6. You see it here, Ipsos, even bigger, +19. No matter what poll you look at, no matter which way you cut it, the American public is with the Republicans. The American public is with Donald Trump, and to a much greater extent than they were in term number 1. And it's not just on the broad issue of immigration, it's on the specifics as well, in which the American public is with Donald Trump and the Republicans. And that is why Donald Trump is eager to take on this fight and eager.
Yeah, AKA, we weren't playing favorites. We didn't care who it was. We just like, look, long as you're an illegal alien, you got to go. That's why we didn't care on the Pacifics. All we cared about is that if people just weren't getting, I don't know, executed or something, but just do it in the most humane way ever. And if this is the best way they can do it, so be it. But as long as it's happening, as long as these guys are getting these illegals out of here, we're happy. And especially since how LA just exposed itself, letting us know that we hit the right spot, even better. Now we're like, oh, please send in the army. Shoot, let the army get involved, because now these Dems undid it to themselves. And like I said, if you Dems could have just walked it back, you could have avoided the National Guard. Now you might have the ICE, National Guard, and even the military possibly in your city for months until every illegal is gone.
Eager for those scenes out of Los Angeles.
So if you want me to paint a grim future for you guys, I mean, be prepared for roadblocks, be prepared for checkpoints all over the place, be prepared for, I mean, the checkpoints outside the city, of course, because now they're going to lock the city down till they're assured that majority of the illegals are gone. Once they've taken back control of the city, and you guys will be under some side of pseudo martial law. Please, like, I mean, I would say stop, but I think it's a little bit too late for you guys.
Did you hear that, Governor Newsom? Did you hear that? I know you're about to leave office soon. I get that. But did you just hear that? America is with Donald Trump. America is with the GOP on this issue. Okay? He's gaining traction in the midst of distracting us from all the other issues that involves him right now because of what's going on in the streets of Los Angeles. This is not a winning argument for Governor Newsom. And because it's not a winning argument for him, it's not going to be a winning argument for Mayor Karen Bass, and it's not going to be a winning argument for the Democratic Party. Where would I get that from?
It never was.
Let me read some stuff to you. This is on the state of California alone, just on some research note here. Current deficit. California faces a projected $12 billion. This is according to research. California faces a projected $12 billion additional budget shortfall for 25-26, meaning 2025-2026, on top of previous gaps, marking at least the 3rd straight year of structural deficits.
Yep.
Annual spending in terms of structural deficits. Annual spending exceeds revenue by $10 to $20 billion, prompting reliance on reserves, borrowing, and accounting maneuvers. Without reform, state debt could reach $42 billion. Rainy day reserves. The governor plans to use $7.1 billion.
Like I said, the man literally ruined the most profitable state in America. How do you fuck that up? I mean, damn, excuse my language, but how do you fuck that up? Literally the most profitable state in the land, in America. And now it's losing money. And now it's losing richer individuals. Now it's losing tax revenue. And it's losing corporate tax revenue because the businesses are leaving. How'd you F that up? It was something so great, so easy to run. You just have to literally sit back and let it run itself and just make sure the border was closed. If you'd have did that, California would have been great. All you had to do was just sit back, let it be California, keep all the gay stuff out and close the damn border, and you'd have been fantastic.
Easy. From reserves, leaving a total cushion of approximately $15.7 billion by mid-2026. So now you're digging in to the rainy reserves, okay? Rainy day reserves. Immigration. undocumented population. According to the research, estimated numbers as of 2022, California had about 1.8 million undocumented immigrants, the largest in any.
You know, so wild though. It does seem like the Dems do repeat history. It's like leave it to the Dems, you know, to fight for basically slave wages or indentured servitude again.
State in any state in the United States, though
They don't know their
down
history.
120,000 recently. Okay, this equates to roughly 7.3% of California's total population.
But all right, don't worry, guys. We're gonna get back to that. First, though, let's get into this little. Let's switch over to our man Abrego Garcia. You know, the Maryland man that we deported, rightfully so, but you know, we got the logistics wrong, and then we brought him back. You know, just to throw federal charges on him. Just to lock him up in jail for probably the rest of his life, and then maybe let him out when he's 90 or so, just to deport him to El Salvador. All right, let's get right into it. This is a fun one.
This is Kilmar Abrego Garcia, an undocumented immigrant who had been living illegally in the United States since 2012. In 2019, he was arrested. Both an immigration court and an immigration appellate board found that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was a member of MS-13, and an immigration judge issued an order for his removal. However, Abrego Garcia convinced the court to put him in withholding of removal status due to a well-rounded fear of gang persecution if returned to his home country of El Salvador. In other words, Abrego Garcia was ordered to be removed from the United States and sent to any country on the planet except to El Salvador, you know, the country he originated from.
Yeah.
And even though he was found to be an MS-13 gang member, he was allowed to stay and received a work permit. Makes sense to me. What's your problem? So on March 15th, 2025, the Trump administration deported Abrego Garcia to El Salvador anyway. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials admitted in a court filing that his deportation to El Salvador was due to an administrative error. So what should have happened was that Abrego Garcia faced an immigration judge, and that judge would have taken into consideration that El Salvador has become not only the safest country in Latin America, but is one of the safest countries in the world. You see, the
which is true. I mean, yeah, back when Abrego Garcia left, it was probably it was the murder capital of the world, basically. I mean, Bukele came in, he cracked down, he locked all these guys up, and now it's one of the safest countries in the world. And all it needed was just one leader serious about stopping crime.
Salvador of 2019.
And not working with the gangs. No offense, Hispanic countries, but what's wrong with you guys and working with gangs? It's like it always seems like every Hispanic country is working with the cartel or some gang member and they're screwing their people over. What's wrong with you guys and working with, like, I don't know, criminal organizations? Like, explain that one to me.
Is very different from the El Salvador of 2025. When Abrego Garcia left his home country around 2010, El Salvador was the homicide capital of the world.
True.
But in recent years, after President Nayib Bukele initiated a nationwide crackdown on gangs, the nation's homicide rate is now down to 1.9 homicides per 100,000 people. And since the gang violence in El Salvador
literally turned that country around, like literally 180 the country in crime, like crazy.
Or has been effectively shut down, an immigration judge most likely would have canceled Abrego Garcia's withholding of removal order, and he would have been deported home.
Yeah, because think about it like this. Oh, he don't want to go back to El Salvador because he's in danger of his life. I'm like, yeah, well, that was back when you left, my friend. Now it's like literally the safest country in the world now. Now you'd be more safe in El Salvador than America, sadly.
Case closed. Instead, in deporting him, the Trump administration focused on his gang affiliation. Since MS-13 is designated as a terror organization, this should have taken precedence over the withholding order, but whatever. So when this was reported by the media, they never highlighted his MS-13 gang affiliation or the fact that he was in the country illegally. Instead, they called him the Maryland man or the Maryland father.
A Maryland man thought to be wrongly deported. A mistakenly deported Maryland man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
A Maryland man wrongfully deported.
Yeah, he wasn't wrongfully deported. He was just sent to the wrong damn country. We supposed to send him to Guatemala, where he probably has some family members he can kick it with, but instead we sent him to El Salvador. And well, Bukele said, you used to be MS-13, so we're just gonna lock your ass up. And that was it. There you go. And then now come to today, or maybe like I guess a couple weeks ago, we brought him back here. We sent an arrest warrant to Bukele. Bukele said, all right, I'll send him back just to bring him up on, human trafficking charges, pretty much. And here's the worst part about it. They're trying to give this man 10 years per person he deported. Per person he smuggles. Bro, he's gonna be in the jail for the rest of his life. So hey, man, if anybody want to go visit the Maryland man Garcia, yeah, you'll be able to visit him in an American jail.
Deported. A Maryland man who was mistakenly deported to a prison in El Salvador.
A Maryland man who was mistakenly deported.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man mistakenly deported to El Salvador. That Maryland man that was detained.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man mistakenly deported to a prison in El Salvador.
He was mistakenly sent to that prison.
Mistakenly deported father, the Maryland father mistakenly deported.
Maryland father who was wrongfully deported.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland father from Maryland.
The Maryland father. Maryland father.
Maryland father.
The Maryland father.
This Maryland father.
The Maryland husband and father.
A 29-year-old father of 3.
Mistakenly deported migrant and father from Maryland.
Now, the way the media was framing it, Abrego Garcia was just an innocent man from Maryland and not an illegal alien gang member from El Salvador. This was an attempt to garner sympathy for this poor Maryland father of 3 and hatred and hostility for the bad orange man.
I do intend to go to El Salvador to discuss the release of this individual who is illegally detained. A Maryland man who's the father of 3. It is absolutely unjust and illegal to have this Marylander detained one more day in a notorious prison in El Salvador.
And that is Senator Chris Van Hollen from Maryland, who made it his personal mission to bring Kilmar home, as if that was ever in the cards.
Man. We are going to keep fighting to bring up.
Think about this. Bukele had ultimate jurisdiction over Abrego. So pretty much Bukele said, no, I'm not going to send him back so you guys can put him through deportation court. But I will send him back if you guys want to ring him up for criminal charges. Like, oh, yeah, for sure. Go ahead and send him right over. We'll go ahead and hit him up on those human smuggling charges and all that good stuff. You know what? Shit, let's even throw him the assault for beating his wife. Why not? Why not?
Abrego Garcia home. I told Mr. Abrego Garcia's family I would do everything I could to bring him home. I promised that his wife and...
at least you can, you could BS them and say, I brought him home. Guys, to face his charges. As long as you frame it like that, you won't be lying.
His wife and his family, that I would do everything I could 24/7.
Not to be a dick, but his wife and his family will see him behind bars.
To try to bring him home. We demand that Kilmar be returned home now.
Senator Van Hollen even flew to El Salvador on the taxpayers' dime to advocate for Kilmar's release.
I just landed at the airport in San Salvador a little while ago. The goal of my visit is to talk to people here about the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I told his wife and his family I would do everything possible to bring him home.
Now, Van Hollen was unsuccessful in bringing Abrego Garcia home, but he did get the opportunity to sip margaritas with him in the tropical paradise of El Salvador. So while Van Hollen was in El Salvador, it was reported that not only was Kilmar an MS-13 gang member, but also a wife beater. That's right, Maryland father had beaten the crap out of his wife so badly that she filed 2 temporary protective orders against him. Suddenly, Van Hollen changed his story.
I believe she was like a voice recording as well, pretty much saying how she was literally trying to run out the house and leave this man, grabbed her, and just ended up whooping her ass again. This guy was really one of the worst, and this was their Maryland man. This was their innocent man. Like I said, I think somebody in the chat said it well. This is blowing up in their face. Y'all really championing this guy, and now all will be exposed. And even what I was saying about this guy, I was over here listing out the facts, but I didn't know all of this was going to come out. Like, I thought he was a bad guy. Now, Jesus, this man's a downright criminal. I mean, bro, super villain at this point.
It wasn't about bringing him home. It was now only about his due process.
I want to be very clear. I'm not vouching for the man. I'm vouching for the man's rights, his constitutional rights to due process.
And the crazy thing is, the Dems have honestly trying to spin the argument now. Like, when I've approached the Dems about this, well, yeah, he's getting his due process. I'm like, nah, you guys were arguing about his due process for deportation, not his criminal charges. Don't run away from the argument now.
But actually, Senator Van Hollen did in fact vouch for the man.
This individual has never been convicted of any crime. He was here legally. He is the father of 3 kids right now, and he needs to come home. Because he's here legally now, he has a work permit. He's a sheet metal worker. He has a family. He has 3 kids.
I never vouched for this Maryland father of 3 and full-time sheet metal worker or advocated for him to come home. Hell, I'm surprised he didn't deny.
Actually, I'm not even sure if those are his kids, because I believe the real dad came up and said, yeah, like, I don't want my kids hanging around a gang member. And I mean, I think Abrego Garcia. Yeah, I don't think he's a father. I think he's a stepdad to that lady, because like I said, I'm not sure if all 3 of those kids are his or not, but I know that's 1 or 2 of them ain't his, and that's a fact, because one of the fathers came out and said, hey, yeah, I want my kid around a gang member, and this was an old filing. This was a while ago, before these charges came up on Abrego Garcia, or before it became a national sensation.
Taking the trip to El Salvador.
They are trying to litigate on social media what they should be doing in the courts. They need to put up or shut up in the courts. They need to put up or shut up in court. Let me read you, and I brought it with me. I want to read you what Judge Zinnes of the Federal District Court just found on April 16th. She said that they had presented, quote, no evidence linking Abrego Garcia to MS-13 or to any other terrorist activity, unquote. If they've got evidence, you put it before the court. No evidence linking Abrego Garcia.
It was put before 2 courts, actually. It was put before the immigration court and the appeals court, and maybe they just went to go look for that. You know, they probably just went on the hearings like, well, they said they have the evidence in this hearing that he found guilty on, so we'll just go from there. I mean, do you really got to bring up evidence when you've been guilty before of what they've claimed?
To MS-13 or any terrorist activity has been presented to the court. They never affirmatively found that he was a member of MS-13. They never, of course, charged him with any crime. Again, all the issues you raised, why aren't they presenting those to the courts? So again, put up or shut up in court. They need to put up or shut up in the courts of the United States.
So look, we know that if Kilmar Abrego Garcia was returned to the United States, his attorneys would have tied things up in court so badly that it would have been impossible to remove him from the country ever again. But that was the not-so-secret plan all along. And during a Senate hearing, Senator Van Hollen tried to put pressure on the Trump administration by lecturing Secretary of State Marco Rubio, which was never going to work.
The Supreme Court, in a 9-0 decision, instructed you to facilitate the return to the United States of Abrego Garcia, who the administration admitted was wrongfully deported to El Salvador. Your response? You've openly flouted judicial orders. When asked whether you have been in touch with El Salvador to return Abrego Garcia, you boasted, quote, I would never tell you that. And you know who else I would never tell? A judge.
In the case of El Salvador, absolutely. Absolutely. We deported gang members, including the one you had a margarita with. And that guy is a human trafficker, and that guy is a gangbanger, and the evidence is going to be clear in the days to come. You're going to see who you went to defend.
Senator,
I'm sorry,
please,
Mr. Chairman.
Secretary Rubio has the floor.
Mr. Chairman, he can't make unsubstantiated comments like that.
Secretary Rubio has the floor. You've had your
Secretary
time.
Rubio should take that testimony to the federal court of the United States because he hasn't done it under oath.
17 days later.
On May 21st, a grand jury in the Middle District of Tennessee returned a sealed indictment charging Abrego Garcia with alien smuggling and conspiracy to commit alien smuggling in violation of Title 8 U.S.C. 1324.
So the lesson here is, be careful what you wish for because you might get it. Womp womp. So the 2-count indictment against Abrego Garcia specifically mentions an incident from November 30th, 2022, where the Tennessee Highway Patrol conducted a traffic stop when Abrego Garcia was driving a Chevy Suburban with 9 additional passengers, all Hispanic males, none of whom had any identification.
And they was arguing so hard for this man when there's literally video evidence that he's a human smuggler. Literal video evidence. Man, you gotta love being right. You just gotta love being right, guys. But on this note, we're gonna go ahead and switch over to this LA riot reaction. Shout out to this man for going out there and asking the questions. Well, that personally, I wouldn't go out there and talk to those people. They look a little bit wild to me. And I would honestly be personally offended that they're trying to invade, my homeland. It is a bit like, oh, damn, I feel like I should fight you. But hey, it is what it is.
Holy cow, they're throwing bricks at the police.
What is going on in California? Oh,
damn. And crazy thing is, you want to know how you could possibly get hurt? Imagine one of these guys, throws it, miss, and knocks some innocent person upside the head with a brick. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's happened, but it hasn't been reported.
This is our city, and this was Mexico. You can't kick us out of the land that was ours.
Whoa.
LA has erupted over the past few days as ICE officials came in and carried out a few raids. The past few days have been wild here on the streets of LA. Cars have been burnt, intersections have been taken over. Local and state officials are not happy with what's going on with the federal government. The footage you're about to see is absolutely insane. The police are coming through right now. Speak no more and get into the video. Everyone's out here protesting right now. ISIS came through here down LA. The streets are erupting here. Let's see what's going on. National Guard has been deployed out here into the streets of LA. Thousands of protesters are here on the streets right now. Right here on this federal building, you have words like F-ICE, revolution starting here. Here for my family.
Yeah, there are so many people that don't even understand a revolution, but revolutions are bloody.
Yeah.
And so there are people that will protest for a revolution, and oftentimes those are the people that would be the first ones to die or the first ones to cower.
Whoop. We'll go to the original one right here. There we go. I didn't even know I had a reaction.
They're throwing bricks at the police.
There. We didn't even know I was
This is our city, and this was Mexico. You can't kick us out of the land that was ours.
LA has erupted over the past few days as ICE officials came in and carried out a few raids. The past few days have been wild here on the streets of LA. Cars have been burnt, intersections have been taken over. Local and state officials are not happy with what's going on with the federal government. The footage you're about to see is absolutely insane. The police are coming through right now. Speak no more and get into the video. Everyone's out here protesting right now. ISIS came through here down LA. The streets are erupting here. Let's see what's going on. The National Guard has been deployed out here into the streets of LA. Thousands of protesters are here on the streets right now. Right here on this federal building, you have words like F-ICE, revolution starting here. Here for my family. All sorts of stuff. Right here you have the National Guard. They've come through. You have troops, about 300 in different directions. Trump sent in about 2,000 people. There's groups of 300 sent around the city right here. And this one is at the side of the federal building here at one of the ICE detention centers here in LA. What's your message to the National Guard here today?
The National Guard.
And why do you think they got sent out here today?
They got sent because we don't have a president that can lead.
And what fears you most about Donald Trump and the ICE raids coming through here?
Hey, nah, he's got to be an illegal then. Because why you need your glasses, G? The ladies over here like, nah, here, take your glasses so they don't recognize you.
That motherfucker. Have you seen our community? I don't feel that motherfucker.
You don't?
Donald Trump, homeboy on a motherfucking real that piece of shit.
What's the water for?
Okay.
Diffuse tear gas. If you need it. Yeah. If you throw a canister in one of these, it should diffuse it enough or at least stop the chemical reaction.
Okay, so they even got the nerds out here trying to help out by stopping the flashbangs and the tear gas.
What makes you want to come out here with the Honduras flag out here?
I mean, these are my roots right here, you know? This is where my family came from. I'm a first gen.
A lot of people wonder on social media, why are people coming out here with other nationalities' flags? If they don't like America, why don't they go back to
I love America and what it represents. You know, the idea of America to our people is a better future and an opportunity to have a job and create something that in our homes we don't have.
Then why are you waving your own flag then? Why don't you wave the American flag, the flag that gives you all that opportunity? And bro, do you even know what you're protesting? At this point, I don't even think this young man knows what he's protesting. You know, you're protesting against America, the country you say you love so much, for upholding its laws. And without these laws, you wouldn't be able to enjoy none of these privileges that America has. So do you even know what you're protesting?
You know, so we love America. We want to be here. We want to contribute, you know, and I agree. The people that have committed crimes and, you know, like an actual crime of, you know, murder, something like that, I can agree with that. You know, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say, no, keep everybody here. Yeah, but the people who are here, hardworking people.
Right now, do you think it's right for them to go after the most?
Okay, see, and that's where it goes. See, they agree with the criminals, but bro, the guys who are there literally, honestly, taking jobs away from American citizens or the American youth, they gotta go too, bro. They gotta go too. We're not picking favorites here. You guys can't say that, oh yeah, get all the criminals that are illegals up out of here, but keep all the guys at Home Depot and on the construction site. Yeah, that's not how it's gonna work. Nope, it's a equal deportation opportunity out here, my man. It don't matter who you are. It don't matter if you're a criminal or you are a illegal who's just working. I'm sorry, bud. You're going to get deported too. And that's what you guys got to understand. We're not picking favorites over here. We're not just going after the criminals. We went after getting each and every one of you guys, even if you're just working a job somewhere. Sorry, but it is what it is.
Dangerous people like they say they're doing?
I mean, I don't see anybody. Nobody here has attacked them. And they initiated all of this. We're peacefully protesting. They're the ones that come out with riot shields. They come out with billy clubs and all kinds of shit. I don't know who's the aggressor here, but it ain't us.
You! I can't wait to know you! Take off your badge, big boy! Take off your badge! Coward! Get that shit in my fucking face!
Okay. That guy's yelling at the ICE officials for being a coward for wearing a mask. Meanwhile, he also has a mask on. What's your message to the police officers?
Calling him a coward for wearing a mask, but bro got a mask.
In the National Guard right now.
They've got a choice. They don't have to do this fucking shit. That's it. They can either be American citizens or they can be what they're doing right now.
Being upholding the American law. I mean, that's being an American citizen, is upholding the American law, especially immigration policies that protect the American country. I mean, your community is like, so you're kind of going against the American law and the American people standing doing this. And I don't think these guys like know this. It's kind of like sad. Like if I had a personal conversation with some of these guys, we'd probably agree on a lot of pro-American values. But in this one moment, their heads effed up. Like they don't really know. Honestly, the bleeding heart argument got to them. Like, oh, these are the members of y'all community. Yeah, when it hit home, it hit different. And I get that, but you guys got to stay consistent here. You can't sit there and be like, oh, it's okay to get rid of the illegal criminals, but it's not okay to get rid of the illegal workers. No, you got to be consistent. You got to get rid of all of them. Have consistency in y'all belief, because that's what this shows. Even guys on the right in Trump's campus pretty much have disagreements with this, and you guys let y'all feelings get the best of you. You guys want to have a feel-good argument of, well, he's a member of my community, bro. You don't understand. He works hard and all that. I get it, bro, but he's an illegal and you got to go. It is what it is. And like I said, you just can't be okay with the criminals being deported and then want to sit there and cry when the workers get deported too. You know what you signed up for, or did you not?
You don't think they're acting like American citizens?
No.
Do you think they're trying to protect the country or make it a more dangerous place?
What do you mean? Like, this is way, way beyond what it needs to be.
Something's about to break out real soon. If these people keep taunting the police officers with all these other flags, all these other words they're saying to these police officers and National Guard, something's about to happen.
You guys suck! Christy Lewis, you guys suck! Donald Trump! Fuck you!
I can tell.
I'm weak as hell, bro. You know what's so funny? I could tell one of them guards was like, hold on. She said we suck Christy Gnome's what? One of them guys was like, you know what? I probably wouldn't mind doing that. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I mean, like, well, is Christy Gnome's ugly?
Tell you're very upset.
Of course we are. Yeah.
We feel some burning in the eyes right now upon arrival here.
Dude, I ain't a fan. I ain't the biggest fan of white girls, but I mean, Chrissy Gnomes is not ugly.
Everybody be prepared. We still fight for the legalization of all in occupied territories. This was indigenous land. This was Mexico. This is our fucking turf. F these motherfuckers. Free them all!
Stolen people on stolen land. Black people were stolen. And it was taken from the indigenous. Stolen people on stolen land.
If you don't get your black ass somewhere else, dog, this is not your fight. Stolen land is stolen land, dog. Really? So, and I would have to ask this young man, I'm like, so you're helping these guys with his fight, but I mean, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Stolen land is stolen land, bro. Because you guys are under U.S. jurisdiction, if this was just a free-for-all land, and we'd have came through and invaded you guys a long time ago, and it would have been bloody. So you're kind of lucky that we're seeing this as an insurrection instead of a real invasion. Because if it was a real invasion, then things would have got bloody. Because we'd actually have to take some of you guys out because you actually believe that you're invading American land. And I'm not talking about, you know, these guys like him who are American citizens. I'm talking about the, honestly, protesters could catch heat too, possibly. But mainly the illegals who are really trying to make this stop. And like I said, or honestly, like is what's been stated, that the population of LA is mainly Hispanic, but a small percent of them are legal citizens and the majority of them are undocumented.
And it was taken from the indigenous. Stolen people on stolen land.
What's your message to ICE and to the federal government today?
Just the message, just straight up, is just this government is fucking corrupt as fuck. People need to fucking start realizing that shit. And fucking, we need a fucking factory reset. We need some justice up in here. Just for everybody. Straight the fuck up. You know what I mean?
You have lots of tattoos, and people oftentimes interpret tattoos with being part of a gangs and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been checked for gangs or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm focused on some other shit. I'm not worried about that, though.
You're not worried about that?
No.
So essentially all that's happening right now is that ICE, police, DHS, and the National Guard are just holding a line here outside this federal building. Protesters haven't gone back at the police quite yet. We'll see what happens. Could be happening very soon.
Look, and they're outside the ICE detention center, and they've been trying to, like, you know, break into it. But shout out to the law enforcement, they've been holding them back with the paintball guns and, well, rubber bullets.
Our lands. All this is stolen. And what? Now we're fucking illegal here. We're gonna die. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, bro. I mean, well, if you just jumped here through the border, or, well, you weren't born here in America, but somehow you're here, yeah, you are an illegal. But I doubt you're one. I doubt you're one. Your English is actually not pretty good.
You're not fighting for. You're not fighting for this country.
We're gonna dox you. We're gonna dox you.
I know.
We're gonna dox you.
I know. That's why they're not going to take off their masks, because the people like you, my friend, is like, yeah, people who are going to dox them. That's why I even said that ICE needs to keep on their masks. Really, they need a double mask up. They need a double mask up to the point where you can barely tell who they are, what their gender is at this point. That's how hard they need a mask up. So, yeah, I'm all for ICE. Keep the mask on. Actually, make sure you secure it on, because they will dox you and they will go after your family members. Please.
I love this flag right here.
You just said you love that flag right there. What's your favorite thing about the Mexican flag?
What colors?
What's the purpose of bringing out the Mexican flags today here while we are?
Bro, that dumb ass, this guy, bro, you know what? Where is it at?
Uh-oh, retard alert.
Ain't no way, bro. One more time.
Retard alert.
That man literally said, I love this flag. What'd you like about it? The colors. The colors. Son of a bitch.
In the United States.
Honestly, I have no idea, bro. I just came here to just show out. That's it, bro.
Do you think it's low-key like, all right, if you want to rep your flag, go back to your country kind of vibe, or do you think people are just upset with what's going on?
I don't know. Honestly, like, it's true, you know, like, we did come, but, like, I don't know, bro. Just, they're here already. They don't want to leave.
Why are they protesting what's going on here in the United States?
A descendant of Colorado complaining about stolen land. Man, that would be, man. Ain't that wild? But no, this is really crazy though. These guys are going like, oh, it's stolen land. They should, like, no, these guys are paid actors. It don't even make no sense for this black guy to be in there. And then when he asked him, what do you like about that flag? He said the colors. Like, that was supposed to be deep or something. Like, nah, bro, somebody's paying you.
If they don't want to go back to their country.
Because they think it's like it's stolen land. So they think they could just come in here, you know, and
take over. And this guy right here is essentially taunting National Guard right here, saying National Guard, LOL. Meanwhile, National Guard is right there with their troops. The lawyers have arrived.
Yeah.
What are you guys here to do?
We don't talk to press, I'm sorry.
Okay, and what's your guys' job here to do?
We're legal observers with the National Lawyers Guild, so we're third party. Yeah.
So if the protesters say they touch a police officer, or one of the members of the National Guard, who's at fault? If they then detain that
We don't.
Just look up National Lawyers Guild. So the people with the green hats, they essentially watch to see if law enforcement does anything that they could then go and sue them for. So who knows who they get paid by? However, their job is to make sure that if a protester does get detained, they get all the name, info, so that they can go and file a lawsuit as they're part of the National Lawyers Guild. And a lot of people wonder who funds that group with the green hats. Is it George Soros or is it some other outside organization? Nobody really knows. We got this group right behind me gathering
That's what
right
I'm saying.
now.
They already got like trucks pulling up, giving out supplies, and I'm just wondering, like, man, what organization is funding that? Here's the thing. Be quite honest, I wouldn't be surprised if the cartel's supporting this. Like, why wouldn't they support it? If I was the cartel, I would support this right here. I'd be like, yo, yeah, keep them motherfuckers out of there because that's a prime place where we deport all these drugs to. And that's a prime place where we send these illegals to. So, yeah, if I was the cartel, I'd be supporting the riots. Shit, I'd buy a pallet of bricks. I'd buy water. I'd buy red shields. You know what? I'd go as far as to buy them guns. I'd go as far as to do that. I'm just saying, if I was that duplicitous and if I was the cartel and I wanted to keep my stronghold, I'll go balls to the wall. And who's going to stop me? I mean, who's going to come for me? What, the Mexican government that allows me to do what I want?
They're all masked up. They're in a circle. Looks like they're planning to do something. You're here talking to the National Guard. What's your message to them today?
I'm just asking this dude to think. You know, I was just talking to this guy, asking him if they give you the order to shoot, are you going to do it? He wouldn't look me in the eye. It took a while, but he told me no eventually. None of these people want to be here. This captain looks sad as fuck. Look at this captain, bro. Sad as fuck. He does not want to be here doing this.
No, bro. Who would want to shoot you? Like, no, they're actually human beings. Remember this. If they have an order and you guys are getting violent and they have an order to shoot, they're going to shoot. But bro, we're all human at the end of the day. Like, we don't want to do this. We don't want to hurt you guys. We'd rather you guys just leave and deport yourselves. We don't want to have to hunt you down, tear you out your groups in front of y'all family, bring you to the ground and all that. We don't want to have to do that, but it's what you're making us do. Okay? Like, if you want to fight it, now we got to get physical. And I'm be honest, I'm not like I want to see the National Guard out here firing like rubber bullets. That still breaks skin. That still hurts a lot of people, especially if you're a fragile person. So I'm still considering the safety of the civilians and even the immigrants. So weird enough. And I would just say, look, it's better if you guys just walk it back and you guys understand what the American people, the American people voted for this, and that you're low-key stopping, American laws. And some of you guys are saying that you love this country, but you're literally going against this country while protesting. It's a bit weird, but here we are. Shout out TB. Hey, sis. So I get a little conflicted because give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. I understand the complexities. IDK. I get it. But here's the thing, though. These guys didn't go through the normal way. Like, if they went through asylum, if they went through the immigration process, like work visas or whatever, we could have worked things out with these guys, but they just completely jumped the fence on this. I mean, quite literally just jumped the border. They jumped the fence. It is what it is. Like, they went the wrong way about this, and we got to correct it, or else this will continue to be abused. Like I said, we can't back down. We can't. Like, they done forced our hand, and this is what they wanted. We can no longer back down the situation, or else this will get worse, and it will spread to other cities, and other cities will be taken over by, immigrants. Like, can you imagine if we literally just step back and we let Los Angeles go out like this? And that means other sanctuary cities around there are going to do the exact same thing. And then we'll really have no control over our own country or even gets in here. Then we'll really be a borderless country because we can't uphold our border laws or immigration laws. So at that point, who the hell really is a citizen at that point?
I want to be here doing this, and yet they are. They need to make their own fucking choices and think for themselves.
Would you like to see them disarmed in front of thousands of people?
I just want the National Guard out of my city. I want people freed. I don't want to see any more kidnapping. I don't want to see any more ICE in our communities. I want to see
kidnapping. Mean arrest? No, it's arrest, not kidnapping.
Tax dollars going to this.
Who would you like to protect the nation?
The people. I mean, all I care about is the people. I just want everybody to be safe, not kidnapped.
Do you think there needs to be laws here in the United States to regulate things like immigration?
I think people need to not be kidnapped.
For instance, this is all caused because a lot of people did come to the country these past 4 years. Do you think there should be regulations with who comes across the border and how many come across?
You know, I think whatever regulations there may or may not be.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. He's probably coughing. They're burning cars. There's probably tear gas in the air. Boy, every breath is like smoking a cigarette at a certain point.
They're abducting people at court cases, right?
If somebody comes across the border without due process, do they deserve due process going out?
Yes, everybody deserves due process.
Now they're all moving. They're going to City Hall.
Fuck LAPD.
All these people right here talking to the police, direct line in between them.
Yo, what is this dude wearing?
What do you guys say?
Bro, this is fucking bullshit, bro. They out here hurting innocent people. Fuck you, bitch.
The lady with the scarf right here, she was one of the people in that group that I was talking about earlier on in this video. Her and this guy right up here causing all the chaos.
Need a mask,
I'm all good. What's the mask for?
I mean, shit. I mean, you know.
Oh, you're handing out the mask? Why are people having masks? And who do you think's wrong, Newsom or Trump right now?
Not the man threw up gang signs. Oh my God, that's why he put on the mask. Because maybe he's one of these illegal gang members.
Now they're battling it out.
Trump, definitely.
He's on the right or wrong?
Wrong. Totally. Look at what's happening. I mean, clearly.
What are you gonna do?
Huh?
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. I'm just kind of here.
Just keep the finger up?
Yeah.
There you go.
Well.
This guy's a little fucking bitch. You know, this guy's a fucking. He's a fucking little white nationalist. Fuck this guy. You're a little fucking bitch.
Don't touch the camera.
Fucking bitch. I know that.
Hey.
You're a fucking bitch.
I didn't do anything.
Get the fuck out of here. I know you fucking do. You fucking white nationalist motherfucker.
How?
I know who the fuck you are. You fucking Republican bitch.
Okay. Okay then. So I guess he know who this guy is. And let me see here. Well, the guy does have over 500K subscribers. Shout out to my man Nick. But yeah, Nick Shirley. Yeah, he has over like he has 544K subscribers. So yeah, he could be recognizable. But dang, you gotta get up in my man's face. I thought this was a peaceful protest.
Bro, you don't need to put. This is one of them. They're gonna get it.
I don't give a I'm a fucking cartel's fucking face.
And shout out TB says, by the way, can definitely see the cartels funding this. Yeah, I know. Why? It's one of my wild speculations, but I mean, why wouldn't they? Especially if it's a stronghold and they already got most of their people over there. It's primarily Hispanic. The Hispanics are already helping the illegal Hispanics, are already helping the illegal Hispanics out. Who knows? And the illegal Hispanics are helping the gangs out. It's like one big pipeline to criminals. Like, well, honestly, to just organized crime. It's a pipeline to organized crime that starts from the legal Hispanic citizen and ends all the way down to the, well, cartels.
You fucking little faggot.
What did I do?
You know what the fuck you do?
What did I do?
You know you antagonize people? Oh, fuck your fucking bitch ass up.
I'm not doing anything.
Get the fuck out of here. Just like
See, I told you I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it, guys. I'm gonna be real with you, bro. Would have been asleep. Like, I just could not have done it. Like with the first push, would have probably just been the last one, and then I'd have probably been fighting like, I don't know, like 30 Mexicans.
the cops. Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, I have a right to be here just like you.
Yeah, so do we, motherfucker.
Okay, I'm not.
So why the cops here? You're a fucking cop. That's what you fucking are.
Whoa,
Hey, you are.
okay,
You
hold
fucking
on.
are. Cop. You want to fucking steal that shit?
Get out of here, bro.
Damn.
What? I'm
A Mexican threatening to steal your Oh, damn. That got stereotypical real quick.
corner, you little bitch. Are you scared?
I'm not scared.
You fucking faggot.
What did I do?
You're a little fucking bitch. I fucking see you on fucking line. Oh, you fucking antagonizing right-wing fucking ideology, motherfucker. This is our fucking land, you fucking bitch. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Dude, I have every right to be here.
I don't give a fuck, not today. I'm the fucking police. I'm telling you not to be here, motherfucker.
Well, I want to be here.
Well, I'm fucking telling you not to be here. Get the fuck out of here. Walking towards the cops, you fucking faggot. Get out of here, fucking asshole. I know you are, you fucking right-wing motherfucker. You fucking bitch.
I have every right to be here just like you.
Well, I'm gonna be right next to you the whole fucking time.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, they've been a put down the camera moment. I'd be like, all right, bro, look, I can give this microphone to my cameraman and we can just shoot the fade real quick. And whoever wins stays here, right? Cool. Can we agree to that? Shake hands like men? No, we just shoot the fade. Whoever wins, stay here. Whoever loses, go home. Cool. I don't know. Maybe I'm just petty, guys, but I just can't be hawked down like that the entire time. At a certain point, it'd have been put up the mic and be like, here, bro. I gotta do something.
Do it. That guy's mad at me for being here. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to show what's going on here.
That man has patience. The man has patience of a saint because, bro, he better than me with patience. I need to work on my patience, honestly. You know what? Today I learned a lesson in patience, guys, because this man is teaching me something because I would have probably hit him by now. I'm not even going to lie to you. He'd have probably got assaulted by now by me.
Bodyguard now, motherfucker. Thank you. You little bitch. I didn't do anything to you, sir. Now the police are backing up. People are taking over the police from here. They just broke the windshield of the police. So it makes no sense. I understand why the protesters are out here today. They're upset with ICE. The police are trying to leave, though, and they won't let the police leave.
Well, they're trying to make the police get violent. And I'm just like, bro, if the police are opening fire, it's not going to be a good day for you guys. And why are you trying to like barricade the police? Like, oh, here's the thing. You know what? Actually, shout out to the police right now because all it takes is one crazed police guy who feels threatened and who's just going to start firing. All it takes is just one. So thank God they got their finest. They must have their finest out there because, you know, I've heard of like, you know, policemen low-key losing their shit and just going crazy on a riot. So I'm actually happy that the police ain't, you know, take no, well, aggressions towards the protesters, at least not yet. That's what the Marines and National Guard is going to be there for.
So watch, the police are trying to leave out of here, and watch what's going to happen to this police officer when he drives away.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he shot your ass.
The police have been overtaken here on the streets. There's about 10 of them now here on the streets and over 1,000.
Like, when was it ever a good idea to touch police and then you thought nothing was going to happen?
Protesters are throwing waters at the police. Now the police are about to shoot.
What's the deal?
What's the deal? It's crazy out here, man.
Now look.
The police, I don't understand. The police are trying to leave, but people won't let them leave.
The police.
I know that everyone's saying F the police, but if the police are trying to leave, should they let them leave?
Yeah.
I understand that these people are upset, but the police are trying to leave. There's about 20 police officers now, but they're not letting them leave. And when they do leave, they're kicking the cars, throwing waters at them. They broke the windshield of one of these police officers. So I understand they're upset.
I ain't gonna lie, that young man looked like he was out here snatching chains. Like, I don't know, but he came masked up with a whole bunch of chains on with different. Yeah, he's a chain snatcher.
Trying to leave, should they let him leave?
Yeah.
I understand that these people are upset, but the police are trying to leave. There's about 20 police officers now, but they're not letting them leave. And when they do leave, they're kicking the cars, throwing waters at them. They broke the windshield of one of these police officers. So I understand they're upset, but I don't understand why they won't let the police leave if they're trying to leave.
You know what's so funny though? You know their taxpayer dollars actually pay for these damaged police cars, ironically.
Everyone's going back to the National Guard where the people are being detained right now. For those watching the video right now, am I right or wrong in having the opinion that if the police are trying to leave, the people should let them leave versus antagonizing them even more?
Yeah, because they don't want them to leave. They want them to actually do something so they have a right to lash out. And here's the thing. I mean, what are they trying to do? Have a shootout with the police? Like I said, this is why my cartel theory kind of took off in my head, because it sounds like you're trying to get these guys to start shooting at y'all so y'all can have a right to start shooting at them. And then this literally turns into a civil war in LA. And where would they get the guns from? I mean, in LA of all places, too. We're talking about a country that had strict gun laws. So where else would they get guns from? But I don't know, some criminal organization like the cartel, who honestly make a lot of money out off LA and its immigration policies. Well, a failure to uphold the immigration policies, that is. I mean, bro, and that's exactly why I don't even want to imagine that. He's like, imagine if Trump lost. Bro, all would be lost. I mean, this would literally be almost every inner city in America, including the inner city I live in. It would turn into this.
Putting the police in a hard situation and they're trying to back out, leave the location, and then you're the one hitting back at the police, throwing stuff. So I'm confused. What should the police do? Should they be able to...
Honestly, yeah, let's take a time to appreciate the fact that Trump won. Thank God.
fight back, or should they just take the hits?
Because it looks like this would happen. This is like a little mini, like, I guess a little mini experiment of, well, what if Kamala Harris won? LA is pretty much what would have happened. All of America would have just been LA.
You get hit?
You just already know, man. Hey, it's for a cause, you know what I'm saying?
Ow.
We out here, bro, as you can, man. You know what I'm saying? We man.
Ow. You took that hit right on the chest.
Oh, yeah, bro. I was just riding my scooter, like, you know what I mean? Just another day and just bam.
Were you hitting the police or did you just get caught in the crossfire?
Man, I did something.
I did something.
I ain't gonna lie. I fucked shit up, so, hey, this shit comes with a price in the end, you know what I'm saying?
Now,
at least he's honest. At least he didn't say they shot me for no reason, man. Nah. He's like, nah, I did something. I definitely was trying to come at their ass and he shot me. Well, at least he's honest. At least he's honest.
Everyone has rushed back to the federal building. National Guard's out here, police back on that side, and thousands of people. Streets are filled. Now police are shooting.
Stand your fucking ground no matter what. Stand your ground.
Shots are getting fired out here.
Man, baby girl, you know if they start shooting, you're gonna be the first one leaving.
National Guard has now been activated. They've left their spots. They're pushing everybody back. Holy crap! People are getting shot right now.
Hey, bro, you might want to get him out of there.
Drop the tear gas.
You better be worth it. Okay, get a few more.
Got this guy out here shooting silly string at the police officer. Shots are being fired. All sorts of stuff are happening right now here on the streets of LA.
You are the rioters! You are the rioters! Fuck you!
So these are what they're shooting at the protesters. There are these rubber bullets right here. These are powerful. They're coming out and they're ricocheting everywhere on the protesters. As a protester, do you feel like you guys are accomplishing your purpose out here today?
I don't know who you are, man. I'm not talking to you.
Right, so what happened to this guy right here?
He got hit with a rubber bullet.
Yeah, I know. That's what's gonna happen. I told you, them rubber bullets can pierce skin, and then they hurt like a motherfucker. But I don't know. You're talking to somebody who actually experienced a real bullet, so I could only imagine that. Or I can only dull it down and be like, well, yeah, I could see a rubber bullet being a bitch. But yeah, and hold on, bro. Are you dumb? I mean, no, my bad. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I try not to insult people's intelligence, but are you a retard? Because, bro, what? Mexicans have dual citizenship. What part of illegals don't you understand?
Fuck Donald Trump! Fuck Donald Trump! Fuck fascism! Let our people free! Suelta nuestra gente! Let our people free! Suelta nuestra gente! Let our people free!
What's the windblower for?
Just for the fucking tear gas to blow it back at those motherfuckers! If you have a fucking blower, bring it out! Push them back! We will not do 1992 again with your fucking tanks! I was 12 then! I'm 44 now! I will die for my fucking kids! And all of these young people out here are my fucking kids! Because I'm an LA native mom!
I'm sorry, but hold on. What the did anybody notice this guy here in the ski mask, like in a full ass suit? Bro, what am I looking at right now? I'm sorry, I'm trying to pay attention to what this young lady's saying, but this guy in the mask and the suit is just taking all my attention away.
These are my fucking children you're fighting!
What are you doing there?
You! Major Bass! If you can hear me, expect my ass in your office on Monday for attacking my children! This is our city! And this was...
Yeah, shout out Fox. I'm sorry to whoever is hitting that. No, to whoever hit that. She said she got kids? Crazy. I mean, hey, man, Gaza F anything on a drunk night, right? On a slow drunk night.
Mexico!
It gotta be a slow one. It gotta be a slow drunk night.
You can't kick us out of the land that was ours!
If you could say something to Donald Trump right now, what would you say?
Donald Trump! You can suck my left nut. You can get out of my fucking drawer. You're just Macca Salma Hayek when you give it the time of day, bitch. And because Claudia Sheinbaum make you look like.
Is she transgender? She said you could suck my left nut. You can get it out of my drawer. Oh, so what? Are you a transgender who cut their nuts off and kept it in their drawer? Like, wait, are you telling us a crazy ass story here? Am I trying to connect too much?
Loser.
What do you mean by your sign?
I mean that like we all the power in this country comes from the people who established the republic. The streets are safe and secure because we decide not to make them unsafe. And like the way we're being treated on some level is as if we were captives in a concentration camp. What? We're innocent to proven guilty. Innocent to proven guilty. It's not.
In a concentration camp, like, bro, first off, you would be in uniform, you would be locked up, and you would be in the barracks or so. I don't know where y'all would be, but you wouldn't be on the streets protesting, holding up signs. You trust me, you wouldn't be this liberated. I'll tell you that right now.
Not like they could just drag people off the street just because they think that they're guilty. So.
With these deportations, they say they're deporting the worst of the worst. Do you think they're deporting the worst of the worst, or do you think they're just taking anybody and anybody?
No, I just think they're taking anybody and everybody. I live over by Home Depot, and they were just like dragging guys off the street who were trying to earn a day's work. You know.
And what would you like to see them do with these deportations?
Well, I mean, if there are criminals and they're found to be doing crimes and they are illegal immigrants, and they should be like charged, tried in a court of law and maybe deported.
Earlier, the police were trying to leave today, but the protesters.
Yeah, not a lot of people don't know about immigration policy and how a lot of people get mad when people get deported without as they say, no due process. They didn't get a day in court. They didn't get no lawyer. We just picked them up and deported them. And little do they know that's called expedited removal, which is a part of due process, which means that, yes, if you're in here for 2 years or more and you have no legal documentation, no legal papers, yeah, we're allowed to just send you right back home. No court date, no deportation court or anything. Now, if you've been here longer than 2 years and and somehow you're working and all that wild stuff, then yeah, we'd have to go ahead and put you through deportation court. And so we can't just sign you up for expedited removal. So a lot of people don't even understand how immigration, or honestly how deportation works, and how there's like two parts to it, and how they're both considered due process.
Protesters weren't letting them leave. What should the police do in that case if the protesters are not letting the police leave, if they're trying to go to a different location?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I'm not sure. I saw videos, people trying to get in front of the trucks. I think on some level that's like just compounding the problem. I think like if they're going to drive away, just kind of let them drive away. I don't think that like forcing them to stay is necessarily like the best thing.
I don't think that's like an unreasonable take to like, if the police are leaving, let them leave.
Yeah, let them go. Yeah,
keep pushing back at them.
They're just going to be like hurting people and like running them over with their cars and like, yeah.
And you're wearing a mask. Why are so many of these protesters out here wearing masks? Meanwhile, a lot of people are saying these ICE agents need to take off their masks.
Yeah, well, in part it's like because the Fourth Amendment gives me the right to be secure in my person and property, and my personhood, and so that's part of the reason, because I have the right. The Constitution acknowledges my right to be masked in public whenever I want to.
Should ICE agents stay masked or should they go unmasked?
Who?
ICE agents.
No, they need to be unmasked and with their name, a large identifying nameplate visible. Because they're public servants. They don't have a right to the constitutional rights. They don't have the right to the First, Fourth, Fifth. None of those amendments apply to them. They only apply to citizens, not the state.
Whoa. Actually, they do. They have a right to mask up as well, especially when, you guys can take pictures of them, dox them, harass their family members and the person in like all together. And I would actually pose that question to them. I'm like, bro, I don't agree with them taking off their mask, because aren't you guys going to dox them? And do you think that they deserve to have their family harassed for their job of upholding the American law? Even if you disagree with it, do you think like innocent women and children deserve to be harassed? I mean, I'd ask them that question, because I think their whole, they should be unmasked argument would fall apart instantly.
On all four entrances of this intersection, protesters have surrounded it. Now police are coming in on all angles right now.
And I mean, it isn't the first time that cops masked up before, because it was afraid of this very thing. A lot of cops didn't want their face to be out there because, well, they got family members. And like I said, this is the left here, guys. This is the left. These people will literally dox these people and go after that. They're the ICE officer themselves and anybody related to them, even friends and family. So to sit there and say that, oh, they should take the mask off when they literally have guys yelling that we'll dox you, it's pretty unfair to sit there and say they should take their mask off when they're literally saying, well, as soon as you take your mask off, we're going to harass you and your family. Like, what? So you just want them to put them and their family in danger so you guys can have the satisfaction of doing so, or you get the satisfaction of seeing their face? What does seeing their face have to do with them upholding the law? And actually, yes, the police actually do have a right to cover their faces in these extreme political size situations. They just get the shit.
Holy cow, they're throwing bricks at the police. They were throwing bricks at the police officers, shattered the back of the police officer's car. Now they're taking open fire here in the streets. Looks like the National Guard, they're nowhere to be seen right now. It's just LAPD right now here in the streets.
Maybe the crowd is, I don't know who or whoever the agitators are, they might actually be moving the crowd towards, a less, well, policed area. So let's move away to the National Guard and let's move towards where the LAPD is. And every time National Guard moves in, we'll move in towards the more, I guess, softer police force.
Why are you fucking shooting people?
I mean, the goal, if the goal is to keep the protests going, yeah, that's what I would do. I just keep going to the less aggressive force.
Just when you think it could get more crazy, the madness just continues here on the streets of LA. Now you have a big group of people all sitting down in front of the police. This is a repeat of 2020 here on the streets of LA.
The police!
And the simple observation out here, there's pretty much every flag out here except for the flag of the United States of America. You can see here on the ground are all the remnants of all the shots, bottles, even bricks that were thrown here on the ground. Police are here. National Guard, nowhere to be seen right now. A few people have been detained. They have them right back there. They have them detained in handcuffs. And now another line is coming through right here. Looks like they're going to trap everybody here inside of this intersection. Oh. People are lighting off fireworks here on the streets. That's extremely dangerous. Los Angeles has just declared that they're on tactical alert here, which means that anybody who's a part of LAPD needs to be ready to be out here no matter how long of a shift it is. They must be ready because what could break loose tonight or this evening could get extremely intense. These are already intense scenes out here. It could get even worse later tonight. What's your message to these police officers out here today?
Quit your jobs!
Huh?
Be the good guys! Stand for what America stands for! Stand for due process!
I mean, bro, this is what America stands for, the mass deportation of illegal aliens. I know, we voted for this.
Don't kowtow to these federal cowards! Do what's right! Follow state law! Don't assist ICE!
We're following state and national law, but problem is, I mean, you guys have been following your state laws for a minute when it comes to immigration.
It's pathetic, guys! Get your shit together!
Who should protect the streets in an instance like this when there's a huge protest going on? Should the police even come out?
Protest?
It was getting pretty wild.
Yeah, because they started shooting. I've been here the whole time. They opened fire first.
If people start pushing out the police, what should police do?
Probably get the f*** out the way.
Just let them go through?
we're not here for them. We're here for the fucking ICE. We're here for the feds. We want them out. LAPD, we got no beef with them. In fact, the governor said that state law dictates that they're not supposed to aid immigration in any way whatsoever.
So do you think the federal government's overstepping their reach coming in here to LA?
I mean, that's a problem, because if there was to help aid immigration, then this wouldn't be a problem for you guys if they actually did their job. But here's the thing: there's laws in California that pretty much doesn't allow them to do their job. They don't even let them ask if they're even they don't even let them ask people at a pullover or just the regular, like, I guess maybe you meet them, maybe a situation in public pops off and an officer pulls up. You're not allowed to ask them if they're a legal citizen. You're damn near, basically, you're not even allowed to ask them for identification. Is basically what they're saying.
Yeah, man,
Karen
100%.
Bass and Gavin Newsom?
100%. Even Gavin said that.
Who do you trust more, Gavin Newsom or Donald Trump?
I trust what I see. I don't trust Gavin. Gavin's kind of a scumbag.
And how do you think I should
You're trusting him right now.
carry out with these deportations? They say they're going after the worst of the worst. There's over 20 million.
They're clearly not. They're raiding school graduations. They're raiding workplaces. They're raiding job sites. Those aren't the worst of the worst. Those are employees. Those are people that are contributing to their communities. They're not going after the worst of the worst. That's a fucking lie that's been fed to you by Fox fucking News.
What should they do if someone has an illegal status here? Whether they're
No, they're going after the worst of the worst. The worst of the worst just happened to have been at a high school. The worst of the worst just happened to be at a college graduation. I mean, what? Criminals got kids too? Shoot. I mean, what? They kids graduate too? I mean, life. Hey, the duality of life is quite strange. I'll tell you that right now. You never know who you're going to school with or what their parents actually do.
most dangerous, or if they're just the dad working.
What do you mean by illegal status? Do you mean undocumented?
Undocumented, illegal, like illegally.
Because being undocumented in the United States is not a criminal offense; it is a civil offense. So it's not a crime. It's not a crime. Full stop.
You got shot here today.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad did the bullet hurt?
God damn. At first, like a 10 instantly, because he saw me like point blank.
Were you pushing at the police officers, or what were you doing?
What had happened was, I'm not gonna lie, my girlfriend threw water at him, but then he like twisted really hard, and then he didn't. I don't know. I was lucky, my fault, but. I don't know, man. It's not right what they're doing.
And to finish the video, now that protesters have taken over the 110 highway here in the streets of Los Angeles. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Give this video a like. I'll be reading your comments down below. This is Nick, and I'll see you guys next video.
And all right, now let's get over to Vivek. Hey, man, shout out to this young man. My man was out there risking it all. But all right, now let's go ahead and get into Vivek and what he got to say about Gavin Newsom as well. I ain't heard from Vivek in a minute.
All right, so Vivek, what do you see?
The man started running for governor of Ohio. And I'll be voting for him. I ain't gonna lie. I would definitely be voting for Vivek.
All right, so Vivek, what are you seeing in Los Angeles that makes you think the Democrats care about law and order?
Well, they don't, Jesse. That's clear. But I'll tell you this. I know Gavin Newsom. I actually happen to like him as a person. The reality is he's not going to like what I have to say on this, which is that his behavior is starting to resemble that of another Democratic governor from U.S. history by the name of George Wallace, who was the governor of Alabama, who famously stood in the way of federal desegregation. And in 1963, President John F. Kennedy had to deploy the National Guard of Alabama, just like President Trump is doing today. And I know that's counterintuitive to some people, but the parallels are actually pretty striking if you think about it. Democrat governors, when you look at George Wallace, he resisted desegregation. Gavin Newsom is resisting deportations. George Wallace wanted segregated cities. Gavin Newsom wants sanctuary cities. George Wallace stood in the school door blocking the way. Gavin Newsom is blocking the ICE vans. It's the same Democrat governor playbook. You dodge the feds, you rally the radicals, and most importantly of all, you do it in front of the cameras, because what they were both doing is really carving their Democratic primary path for their presidential ambitions. And Jesse, you can mark my words on this one. Gavin Newsom's presidential ambitions are going to end in the same place.
And shout out to my man Castro. He said, I need a poll. Who has the worst hair, Trump or Vivek? Hey, yo. He said Trump or Vivek. Who got worse hair? Man, you know what? I got you on that one. I got you. And I see one of the haters are upset that I don't want to take his call in. And I'm like, bro, I would literally debate anybody but you right now because, well, we're kind of like 4-0. I've cooked you every time and you never have a good point. And you're like the king of bad faith arguments, like literally the king of bad faith arguments. I applaud you almost every time on that. You should be happy that I applaud you on that. It's like, but debate you every time just to cook you, bro. I mean, debate the chat first. And if you can win a debate in the chat, then I'll go ahead and I'll take your call. Win a debate in the chat first. And then because then now you must upgrade. And now you gotta reach that level to debate set now because you've lost too many times. Sorry, guy. You gotta work your way up. I know it sucks, don't it? But that's what happens when you come up and you lose all the time. Okay. And don't go make me post our debate from last time where I made you look stupid again, because I will.
That George Wallace's did in the dustbins of history where it belongs. That's just the truth.
Well, he's calculating that this confrontation with Trump right now could maybe win him the Democrat nomination. It would absolutely cost him in the general, but at least it would get him the nomination. That's his calculation.
Well, it might have been George Wallace's calculation, too. And we all saw how that story ended. And it's a bit of a shame because I don't know how much George Wallace believed that any much as Gavin Newsom does today. A few months ago, he was trying to portray himself as a moderate.
Actually, that was your worst one yet. Actually, that was the first one you lost, my friend. That's the craziest thing. See, and then you can't even concede an L. Actually, what you do, I'll tell you your debate strategy. Once you lose a point, you try to switch to another point. Then once you lose that point, you try to switch to another point. And then you just lose so many damn points, I get tired of debating you. I'm just like, okay, bro, you're not even going to concede an argument. You're just going to move the goalposts. So at that point, bro, I don't have to debate you. I already beat you 4-0. At this point, bro, debate somebody in the chat. Win with somebody in the chat first, and then you can step up here. But if you can't beat somebody in the chat, I don't want to hear it from you, my friend. I'm sorry. At this point, I'll just mute your texts. But have a good one.
Moderate now sees an opportunity to use this confrontation to get a bunch of national attention. And I think that's actually what's terrible.
Trust me, I debated people way better than you. And you are, it's honestly, let's be real, G. No, I like Cool Bean or Smoothie. Those guys are cool to debate with. You're a child, to be quite honest, bro. And it's not really worth my time. Now, if you were cool, or Smoothie, who actually have some sense about them and who actually can, structurally have an argument, sure. But it's not about you just being on the opposite side of me. It's just that it's just you. It's just you, dog. That's it.
Tearing our country apart. It's also what shows, Jesse, the importance of states leading the way, or what state leadership is actually about, what it ought to be about. Look at the direction of California. The communist republic of the West Coast now has lost its mind. This is a big part of why I'm doing what I'm doing in the state of Ohio, which I'm proud of, to show what a different model actually looks like. And I think it's a good reminder that state and local leadership actually does make a difference to the country. Sadly, it's in an unfortunate way that Gavin Newsom has laid that example for the rest of us. But I think it allows us to say, you know what, when states lead the way, the country's actually stronger when we also follow the rule of law in the United States of America. And as the kid of legal immigrants to this country, I think most Americans, including those legal immigrants, are actually united in their opposition to illegal immigration. And most Americans are smart enough to tell the difference.
How many illegal immigrants do you?
Oh, no. Yes, Ohio will vote for Vivek. You tripping. What? Bro, we love Vivek over here in Ohio. It's like we damn near can't wait to vote for the man, to be quite honest with you. It's like the only thing I disagree with Vivek on is H-1B visas. But other than that, my man has great policies.
You think are in LA County? 1 million?
Look, the fact of the matter is, under the Biden administration, because we had those porous borders, we lost track in this country. I think there are quite possibly, you're looking at 8-figure numbers nationally, tens of millions possibly illegal immigrants across the country. But the reality is this country was founded on the rule of law. That is part of who we are as Americans. That is what unites us. That's actually what draws many of the people who come to this.
I know you got relatives. I literally got damn near the whole fam out here, my friend. Damn near the whole fam. And I'm pretty sure I know more white people than you do in Ohio. To be quite honest with you, I did go to an predominantly white college as well. So I'm pretty sure I know more white people than you. And I know more younger people and more Ohio voters than you since, I live here. So you're trying to tell an Ohio resident about his voting block is the height of arrogance.
This country legally in the right way to contribute to this country is their love of that rule of law. And I think that's something that I don't care whether you're historically a centrist Democrat or Republican, black or white, most people in this country, 80% of us agree on this. And I think Gavin Newsom is going to go down on the wrong side of this issue, just as George Wallace did 60 years ago. And history is going to look back and say, you know what? America's proud when we stood for the rule of law. Do it with dignity, do it with respect, but do it firmly, because that's what this country was founded on. If we embrace that, we're going to be successful.
All right. Well said, Vivek. Good to speak with you. Good luck in Ohio. Thank you so much. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews.
And all right, last video tonight, we're going to go ahead and end off with, well, on a funny note. Shout out to my man, Steven Crowder. On the funny note.
Over the California National Guard and deploying 2,000 soldiers in Los Angeles, not because there's a shortage of law enforcement, but because they want a spectacle. There's no shortage. Could have fooled me with all the cars on fire. Gavin Newsom thinks that you have no right to safety. What a piece of
Face of Satan. I'm not kidding. He looks demonic.
Yes, he does. He does. Everything about him is fake.
Yeah.
And this man doesn't care about you. Just to be clear. He does not care about you if you are a tax-paying legal citizen.
All right, that's funny now. All right.
And I would advise that Republicans in California leave and take your electoral college seats with you, because it's the third largest Republican voting base in the country. You guys often forget that because it's still just by sheer numbers. I believe it goes New York, California, Texas, or New York, Texas, California. But hey, let's see some electoral college seats leave California and go to other states, because it's not going to get any better. It's beyond fixing. They are exposing you to riots and potential murder. We all know that Gavin Newsom is awful. He's been extra awful with these new insurrections that are taking place. So let me read some new examples here. Here's a timeline. Friday, June 6th, Newsom escalated the situation while blaming you for escalating the situation with this specific post about an arrest of union leader David Huerta. He wrote, "David Huerta is a respected leader, a patriot, and an advocate for working people. No one should ever be harmed for witnessing government action." Except Huerta was not just witnessing government action when he was obstructing an ICE vehicle, again, enforcing the laws that you voted for.
Huerta.
Shame on you! 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 Shame on you!
Yeah. He was charged with conspiracy to impede an officer, and I'm willing to bet they'll stick because it's on camera. Blocking ICE from enforcing your laws. By the way, you do know that ICE has deported many, many murderers, sex traffickers, human traffickers. Very likely Abrego Garcia, the one who the left made the hero of the day. Human trafficker, it seems.
They found a lot of children that have been trafficked.
Yep. When you bitch about slavery, you know there are more slaves on earth right now than ever in human history, right? Over 42 million slaves on earth right now. Most of them sex slaves. How do you think that kind of operation still stays in business? Oh, that's right, open borders. That's right, open borders. It's not a conspiracy. Blocking ICE from deporting human traffickers, drug dealers, murderers, gang members, or even people who simply cost you hundreds of billions of dollars a year. Blocking them is not peaceful. But of course, Newsom took their side against you, the American worker. What a piece of shit. Saturday, June 7th.
It'll get worse.
While accusing you, when the left accuses you of something, they're accusing you of what they're doing.
Yep.
I came up under the tutelage of Andrew Breitbart back before it was Breitbart.com.
That's all they do is accuse you of what exactly they're doing. It's like, wow. And you literally sit there and watch them do it. And then as them sitting there pointing at you, going, nope, you're the fascist. Nope, you're the communist. Nope, you guys are dictator-like. I'm like, really? While y'all was handing out all the mandates in the world. Okay.
Which is big Hollywood and one of the first writers there, along with a handful of people. And he was the one who brought Alinsky to the forefront. It's accuse your opponent of doing exactly what it is that you're doing. It's not, and it's a strategy. So Saturday, June 7th, he escalated all of these tensions, hoping for what is taking place right now so he could blame Donald Trump for it. And this post specifically accuses Trump of terrorizing communities. Your indiscriminate sweeps are terrifying entire communities and detaining hardworking, tax-paying Californians. Let me ask you, is there a single legal immigrant out there right now who's terrified? Can you tell me, comment below if you're an immigrant here, even if you're on a work visa? Let me know if you're terrified. I haven't met one, but that's anecdotal.
Just substitute in one word, criminal.
Yeah.
So you're terrifying the criminals. That's kind of the point.
Right. Right. And you know who's harmed the most? Legal immigrants. Legal immigrants, because they have these illegal aliens in their communities, by the way, who, since they're off the books, they engage in far more crime and they end up taking control.
Honestly, it's also disrespectful towards the legal immigrants, the one who came in here the right way. And then it's kind of funny, like I said, how the guys who came in here the wrong way is getting treated better than the immigrants who came in here the right way. Because the ones who came in here the right way, they weren't getting EBT cards, they weren't getting shelter, none of that. All they got was the welcome to America, good luck.
Of entire municipalities, you can go back to a Build a Wall, Change My Mind, where Mrs. Flores asked me where she could report somebody and it be anonymous because she didn't want to be attacked for it. Minutes later, Newsom doubled down, accusing President Trump, you, the American worker, of creating a spectacle with a National Guard order. Because, hey, if you just didn't have ICE enforce the law that the American people voted for, there would be no riots. And then you wouldn't need the National Guard. They always blame you. There's never accountability. Here's what he posted. The federal government is taking over the California National Guard and deploying 2,000 soldiers in Los Angeles, not because there's a shortage of law enforcement, but because they want a spectacle. There's no shortage. Could have fooled me with all the cars on fire, blocking freeways. They want a spectacle. Don't give them one. Never use violence. Speak out peacefully. Okay, but people are already violent.
Yeah.
People are already violent.
Now what?
The tweets were put out over 24 hours after the violence and riots had began, with no sign of them being tamped down by the leadership in California. And that, of course, led to President Trump ensuring that you, the legal citizen, is kept safe, calling in the National Guard. Gavin Newsom thinks that you have no right to safety. What a piece of shit. And I'm telling you, they don't get to reach across the aisle. I know he did an interview with Charlie Kirk, but this happens so much where people do horrible things. Everyone makes mistakes. Lobbing a reputation-destroying, life-altering accusation against somebody and then saying, let's let bygones be back. No, it doesn't work that way. There's a pattern of this going on from those on the left and some people who claim to be on the right. Gavin Newsom stoking actual, literal fires. And then Elon Musk flat out implying that President Trump is a pedophile.
Even Josh has been getting on the bandwagon. He threw shade my way.
It's a trump card.
Hey, there's no more Dr. Pepper in the fridge. Does anyone know when we're going to get another delivery?
We're not going to get another delivery. Noodles cut the budget for soft drinks.
Oh, yeah? Noodles cut the... Yeah, did you know that Noodles is a f***ing pedophile?
Whoa.
Wait, what? Yeah, you sick bastard. Everyone knows you're a kid diddler. Don't try to deny it now.
No, Josh, what the f***?
Oh, yeah, I know it.
What's going on here?
Oh, just warning the whole office that Matt here is a child molester. Yeah, molester Matt, that's what they call him. You know why? Because he likes children and he tries to have sex with them.
Come on, guys, watch your kids.
Always with the kids. All you should see his browser history. It's disgusting. This guy is a... Keep him away from your kids.
Hey, Matt. Remember earlier with the whole Dr. Pepper thing? Well, I found some in the studio fridge, and I just wanted to say that I'm sorry. I shouldn't have acted that way, and I'm embarrassed, so I'm sorry about the things I said to you.
You told everyone I'm a pedophile.
Yeah, but, I'm sorry.
Are you at least gonna delete the X post about it?
Oh, no. It's got like 12,000 likes. It's doing really well. But, yeah, again, sorry, dude.
I'm disappointed in you, Josh.
Well, I'm an emotional guy. I wear my emotions on my sleeve.
Yeah. And you lied.
And, I've seen Matt's browser history.
No. There is no studio fridge.
Yeah.
You said you found more Dr. Pepper.
Matter of fact, everything about that seems to be dishonest. But you know what? It's in the past. Right, Elon? Gavin? So
I don't live there anymore.
Sunday, June 8th. Here's the thing, too. Gavin Newsom has never actually proposed any solution, nor has the mayor. It's just things are fine. That's it. Well, hold on a second. It's been going on for what, 4 days? There are fires, stores being looted, police are overwhelmed.
That's normal.
It's fine. Okay, but what are you going to do differently because it's not working? Nothing.
Yeah, and there's no other crime in the city on a normal night that they would normally be putting their efforts towards taken care of, right?
Right.
You sure people aren't being killed that would have been responded to?
Yeah.
It'd be a great night for it.
We don't have a fentanyl crisis anymore.
I don't think so.
Oh,
no
good.
drugs, no gang violence, nothing like that.
So in L.A.
Sunday, June 8th, despite the violence continuing, Newsom, instead of announcing plans to protect legal Angelenos, announced plans to sue President Trump, again accusing him of doing something illegal in enforcing the laws that you voted for, and he has the authority to enforce. But even went a step further and declaring it to be, immoral.
Donald Trump has created the conditions you see on your TV tonight. He's exacerbated the conditions. He's, lit the proverbial match. He's
create them or exacerbate
them? Ever since he announced he was taking over the National Guard. An illegal act, an immoral act, an unconstitutional act, and we're going to test that theory with a lawsuit tomorrow.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Sorry to interrupt you, but Governor, so that's news. If you're going to sue the administration, tell me a little bit about it. Give us a preview of this lawsuit.
Well, under his executive order, it specifically notes, and under what the DOD did, is they had to coordinate with the governor of the state. They never coordinate with the governor of the state.
Wrong. Well, he filed that bogus lawsuit yesterday, which of course will cost you more money, the taxpayers. Remember, $400 to $500 billion a year in fraud, not just immigration, just fraud. We have no idea where it goes. I'm willing to bet some of these bogus lawsuits. He's also wrong because presidents do not have to coordinate with unwilling governors and everything. Well, Eisenhower, JFK, LBJ, they all defied governors to enforce federal laws. Gavin Newsom is lying, and he's costing you money, the taxpayer, in order to engage in political theater. What a piece of shit.
It's appointed.
He also called in more law enforcement afterward, trying to, again, blame President Trump, saying, now things are destabilized.
What?
And we need to send in more law enforcement just to clean up Trump's mess.
Do me a favor. Leave that back up. Remember the clip that we played of the LAPD chief basically saying that his post is in response to that quote from the chief. If you look at the post on the right there, there's some guy named Bill or whatever. He's saying LAPD chief, and then the video we played saying that things are out of control. And then Gavin's responding to that, saying, no, it's Trump's fault. Now that things are out of control, and the chief was like, things are actually gotten out of control already.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Has a single National Guardsman or a single Marine, I know they're getting there now, lit a fire or broken a store window with a brick? One. Can you point me to one? Comment below. Now let me ask you this. If there's a house fire that was started by a crackhead, in a crack den, and the firefighters show up, do you blame the mess on the firefighters? I need you to answer the first question. One fire, one act of arson, one act of assault against a fellow civilian, store being looted. Has there been one committed by someone on duty from the National Guard? One. But they're the ones responsible for the mess. Okay, let's blame the firefighters. So yesterday, President Trump, this is what the left wants to focus on. And by the way, I say don't apologize. I agree. President Trump commented on Homan possibly arresting Newsom and, took the opportunity to throw a few shots, which was fun. But I agree. Newsom is getting there.
Homan, come and arrest him. Should he do it? I would do it if I was Tom. I think it's great. Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great case. He's done a terrible job. Look. I like Gavin Newsom. He's a nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent. Everybody knows. All you have to do is look at the little railroad he's building. It's about 100 times over budget. We're putting a flagpole over there. Under budget. I always do under budget.
He finds time to troll him as well.
It's a little railroad.
Yeah.
Little train. Toy train set.
What is it, Thomas the Tank Engine?
Yeah.
He's the little... Look, they call him the little train that couldn't.
Ricky the Rioter.
He says, I think I'm a bitch. I think I'm a bitch. And of course, Newsom with the political theater playing fake tough guy. They all go to the same school of tough guy act.
Yeah.
Taunted President Trump. And by that, taunting you, the American taxpayer, footing the bill for all this, taunting you to arrest him.
Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. I don't give a damn.
Sure,
I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
I'm sorry to be so clear. I'm sorry to be so virtuous.
Yes.
I apologize for being the best amongst you.
He saw how the mugshot worked out for Trump.
Yeah.
He wants one now. He wants one.
I mean, I know, right? Gavin Newsom, such a great guy. He just invites millions upon millions of illegals into his state because he's just such a nice guy, right, guys?
What a bitch. It's like, how hard is it to shoot me in the ear from distance?
Fake tough
That
guy.
tough? Okay, never mind.
Fake tough guy meet real tough guy. Holman, who, by the way, like the only way I can describe it is like Holman, he does these interviews. He very clearly doesn't want to be. Like he looks, every interview that I see of Tom Holman, he looks like he just got off a job site sitting on a cooler like, I gotta go do this bullshit, do this interview. I'll be right back.
boys.
Like he's actually doing work.
He looks like a hitman from the mob. You ever seen one of those mob documentaries?
Yeah.
And you're like, this is the guy that killed 140 people?
Yeah. Oh, he's the Iceman.
All about business.
Yeah, this.
Nice.
He made it clear that there's no threat to arrest Newsom, but Governor Newsom could be arrested if he crosses the line. Gotta love Holman.
There's no threat to arrest Governor Newsom, but the statement was made. Just like anybody else. If he crosses that line of impeding ICE enforcement efforts, if he knowingly harbored and conceals an alien, that's a crime. We would ask.
Let me just attack the argument altogether then. Why not? Because, and this is why it's a little bit easy to, well, like I said, debate you, my friend. Because you want to argue that, oh, well, term limits are the best thing. And I believe that's your argument because you're saying that Republicans put it in and you keep trying to, rub that in as if that's a win to the argument. And how about this? Let me give you this real quick and answer this as a question, or just hear my statement out and have an argument for it. Now, is term limits really a good idea when our adversaries like China and Russia literally wait for our leaders to get out of power because they know a limit's going to be up? And let's be real, was a term limit really like a monarchy when the people voted for that person over and over and over again? So if that person got voted into 4, 5, 6 terms, it's only because the people love the direction of the country. So, I mean, but then, like I said, on the adversarial note as well, there are world leaders who can just sit there and wait until we have a weaker leader, a more democratic leader, a more conservative leader, a more corruptible leader, and all they got to do is just wait it out. So, is term limits the best thing? Are there flaws with term limits? Would we have a monarchy if we didn't have any term limits? Well, no, we wouldn't, because like I said, democracy still stands. And even with our what was it, Roosevelt, I believe, even with Roosevelt, you would still FDK. What is it, FDK? Sorry about that. I'm kind of having a brain fog. But even with that guy, you would still have to vote him into a democratic process over and over and over again.
AG, the Attorney General, seek prosecution. It wasn't a threat.
I'm done with this interview. I gotta go back. I gotta find my Makita drill somewhere. I think
Makita.
No,
Where's
that's not
my
what they said.
But Gavin Newsom is, when you think Gavin Newsom, who he hates Tom Holman. He hates the American taxpayer, the American worker. He wants you to stop expecting the enforcement of laws. What?
Say?
A piece of shit. And here's the funny.
That's not healthy. I'm sorry. That's not a
No,
healthy.
it's not. And here's the.
Yes, it is. I'm pretty sure it is.
Here's kind of the tone underneath it all. Gavin Newsom then, I think he probably went, oh, people don't like this.
Yeah.
So then he started pretending to call out rioters about whom he did nothing.
You didn't even address the argument. You just kind of made a salacious comment, and that's it. You just try to call me a Nazi, and that's why I don't debate you, because you have nothing but bad faith arguments. Like, nothing I said was just 1940s Germany. What I actually said was American, like America before term limits. So how could you compare me comparing America before term limits to 1940s Germany is intellectually dishonest. And that is why I do not debate you. Like I said, bro, you do it to yourself. You just proved it to everybody in the chat.
And vocally supported and said would protect, while simultaneously blaming President Trump, you, for, I don't know if you know this, all the arsonery that you see, all the looting, it's actually President Trump and your fault.
sort of these anarchists that are in there to create real problems. And they're just playing right into Donald Trump's hand. And they need to be called out. They need to be arrested. It is wrong to destroy other people's property. And it is wrong to create the conditions that only exacerbate this. But Donald Trump, at the end of the day, is the sponsor of these conditions.
It's so clear what they're doing. They all have a meaning. Like, okay, all right, guys, we're gonna end up with egg on our face. Let's all blame Trump for this, right? Yes. The key word is Donald Trump here, with the word that is key being Donald Trump.
Blaming.
Do we all agree?
Trump.
We'll blame the rioters and the fires on Donald Trump.
Like this guy.
I'm telling, this is not going to end up the way the left thinks it will. This is very different. They overreached and they screwed up so badly with Black Lives Matter. I bet you if George Floyd occurred today, you would have an entirely different reaction from people. The fatigue, and it's not black fatigue and it's not brown fatigue, it's fatigue with lawlessness. It's fatigue with non-contributing human excrement dominating our national conversation. I think if you don't pay taxes, you should have no say. I think if you are here illegally, you should have no say. I know some of you are thinking, some say? No. None. No say whatsoever. And they have had a monopoly on our national, on healthcare. People who don't pay for it are the ones who decided on our healthcare future. Medicaid for all, as you hear from Bernie Sanders. But we had the Affordable Care Act. Enjoy those premiums.
And this, I would debate parabolic coverage. We don't agree on a lot, but I mean, hey, he'll give me a reasonable argument. And he says, yes, yeah, you're right. But like I said, and I get the argument of unchecked executive power, but it's still, and here's the thing. If our enemies can have 100-year plan and they can think so far ahead because they know where their leadership is coming from, then I feel like America also has to have some type of plan as well. And I'm not saying go full on monarchy, no. But if I was to argue against term limits, I would say, yeah, we need to let the people decide who they want to be governed by, even through whatever times it be. Like, you never know. A candidate might come along, have some better ideas. This president might actually fucked up one of his terms and he could be out of power. I mean, what was it? We had like one president that when it hadn't had like a 3 or 4-peat and that was it. We all got scared. Hey, I mean, I get it. But when we're dealing with countries who can kind of prolong their leadership and they know what their plan is all the way out, and we only have like 4 to 8 years to actually get a plan together or to stabilize our country, and then God forbid if some guy comes along and just fucks it all up, that's the vulnerability of America. I can pretty much stand and say one of the vulnerability of America is our term limits.
Enjoy those deductibles. Immigration. They've dominated the conversation. I mean, even if you want to talk about foreign wars, they've dominated the conversation. Those in charge with big tech and censorship, they've dominated the conversation. People who should have no say in what you, the American worker, the American contributor, has to live through. They have been dominating the conversation, and now they just can't believe that the populist movement, that the working class American demographic has turned on them completely. And speaking of going disingenuous, Stephen A. Smith is even calling out someone like a Gavin Newsom and the left. But of course, because he sort of realizes now that his shtick has gotten old.
Why the hell are you playing right into the hands of Donald Trump? Because I got news for you. On this particular issue,
pause.
As it pretends.
This is how you know he's disingenuous, okay? It's not, hey, come on. I was a Democrat my whole life, but why are you advocating on behalf of illegal aliens? Why are you advocating on behalf of lawlessness? Why are you advocating on behalf of effectively domestic terrorists? Why are you advocating on behalf of people who fly a foreign flag? No. This is how you know it's disingenuous, because he's going to move back to the left when it's convenient. He's going, why are you playing into the hands of Donald Trump? He's not playing into the hands of anything. He's being a member of the party.
Actually, I know it's a bit late to inject this argument, but let's be honest now. Let's say that we didn't have term limits. Who's to say that Bill Clinton could have completely fixed the economy, put us on the right path if he didn't have term limits? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, it could work in your favor and it couldn't work in your favor. But all I know is that our term limits, hey, it does limit presidential power. That is that's honestly a really good point. But it also hinders Americans' projected future because we only have 8 years with this one leader, and who knows what the next one's going to do. But like Russia, China, they know who their leader is going to be for the next 40, 50 years. We don't.
You've always supported.
Now, I'm not saying that's a reason to adopt their policies because, they don't vote. I mean, their guys just take over. We vote. So at least we'd have that democracy still. So without term limits, we were still under a constitutional republic. Let's remember that. And like I said, this is just me taking the opposition argument of why I kind of don't agree with term limits. Honestly, I do, but I kind of like playing devil's advocate.
Supported, dummy.
What is in Donald Trump's hands? Was this a master plan?
Yeah.
To do what?
Deportation.
Deport illegal immigrants like more than half of the country asked him to?
I'm sorry, but guys like him and Bill Maher and people who now just like, actually, no. This is not an example of a genuine person. He's going, okay. I don't want to lose all of my audience because now I see the polls overwhelmingly show support for deportation.
All right, see, we can all admit that we'd have our candidate that we'd be like, you know what? If we just stuck behind and let that man maybe get like a third, fourth term, things would have been on a better path. Like, we can all sit here and admit that. And if it didn't, we just vote them out. So, like I said, I get it. Term limits, trust me. Like I said, I'm playing devil's advocate. But in all honesty, I do agree with term limits. Because we do need a type of like pullback on executive power. And you never know that people can get a dynasty started. We can fall in love with leadership so much that we just keep voting in the same person. But then again, if the people keep voting in the same person, doesn't that mean they're doing what's best for the country? I'm just saying, I'm just putting that out there. It's not like they're taking power. It's not like they're just a monarchy or dictatorship. We're voting this guy in here continuously, or girl.
I no longer have a viable audience. So I know. I'll couch it. Why are you playing into the hands of Donald Trump? Now, careful. I have to go hit some mitts that represent a 4-foot midget as I punch him down on the dick. You guys remember that? All right.
Yeah, I do.
I do.
Mission Control, play it again. But let's play this from the top. I don't believe a word this guy says.
Okay.
Why the hell are you playing right into the hands of Donald Trump? Because I got news for you. On this particular issue, as it involves migrants,
you had to change words.
Those who are undocumented, dare we say illegal, in the United States of America, yes. He's winning on this issue. There's a reason he won a popular vote. There's a reason he won the Electoral College vote. There's a reason he won every swing state. There are people within the United States of America that want our immigration crisis addressed and want the situation resolved somehow, some way. And the person that seems eager to bring a resolution to the table is President Donald Trump.
Wait, that would be playing into his hands. By the way, the same people who want immigration enforced, the people you accuse of racism for years upon years upon years. So, this applies to both Gavin Newsom and Stephen A. Smith. What two pieces of...
That's a double deuce.
Oh. You need to see a doctor. There's something wrong with you.
Oh, there was more.
You're still here.
All righty. We'll call it a night on that note because the sun is up and your boy still got to go to work tomorrow. But all right, guys, man, it's actually been a fun one. It has been a fun one, guys. But all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close it down on this one, guys. And all right, I'm going to go ahead and leave out a word from the sponsor and make sure you guys double tap the screen and subscribe to the channel, guys. Road to 100. We are about 4,900 away. Yeah, about there. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. We do this every night. All right, guys, this is Set with Set Media, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace. Guys, today modern AI is quite advanced, except two problems. It is censored and it takes your information. Well, it's hard to find a tech company that don't. But let me introduce you to one. Shout out to my sponsor, Venice AI, which allows you to protect your information and avoid censorship. Now ask yourself, why should a team of programmers at these leading AI apps be the ones to decide what is okay for you to ask and think? Also, would you be comfortable if the presidential administration could govern what AI tells you? Man, I know I wouldn't. But also, while you think about that, did you know that, let me tell you this, it's going to be crazy, but ChatGPT has a former director of the NSA sitting on their board right now, guys. And shout out to that man, Edward Snowden. He called this a willful, calculated betrayal of the rights of every person on Earth. And we all know how Alexa is. Alexa listens to us and recommends products based on our conversations. I mean, talk about a violation of privacy. But guys, these are just a few reasons I decided to team up with Venice AI and get you a better options or solutions to your AI needs. Now, guys, you can go ahead and check these guys out with my promo code. So shout out to Venice AI. Now, if you want to use AI without fear of handing over your most intimate thoughts to a corporation or government, you can get 20% off a pro plan using my link, Venice AI SET, and use the code SET. Man, so shout out, guys. So make sure you guys use the code. Put it up one more time for you guys right there. Once again, guys, if you guys want to go ahead and have unleashed AI, uncensored AI, go ahead and tap in with my guys at Venice AI, guys. Hey, this is S.E.T and appreciate the support. And shout out to the sponsor.